Test 1, 2, 3.
Numbers are far too close for it to be an accident, especially when you think of how MiHoYo would have went about making this, because they planned for the success. And then you look at Diablo Immortal and go, well, what were you trying to do? Whoever was designing this monetization and putting these probabilities together, what was your plan? Because your plan clearly wasn't to ape the success of Genshin and Fate Go, which are very long, drawn out. Sure, there's a lot of whaling involved, but there's a cap on whaling, or a reasonable enough cap on whaling, not to say there is one. That's super, like, it's still like multiple thousands of dollars, but it's like kind of trying to be fair, trying to hold up some sort of, I guess, a facade. Like,
Yeah,
hey,
it's like
hey,
the
we're
mixture
getting,
of that, and then how when, like, you know, anniversary events and stuff come around, they're really generous. Well, generous.
yeah, it's like there's an ulterior motive to all of this system, all of this design, but at least a couple of them pretend to be fair.
Yeah.
And Diablo Immortal doesn't even have the decency, the common decency to go, hey, we're going to be reasonable about this. They just aren't.
And one thing that I love is we actually have a new monetization mechanic for Diablo Immortal. Yeah. All right. So this is from the Gacha Gaming Reddit, which actually must be a pretty fun place to hang out, where a user called Shift Your Carcass has found a whole new mechanic, and now the maths that people are throwing around, it's more coming to 540,000 US dollars instead of like 100,000 US dollars. I'll still say, you know, some of the industry did say 1 point like something mil to me at one point, so who knows? I think that million was like, you know, maxing out in a sort of you know, PvP context, where apparently that funnel is really like designed for the Chinese market, so it's kind of hard to say.
Well, even if you look at the average versus the maximum we had, because there's no pity, obviously it's not probabilistically likely, but if that's 540,000, right? Only if that's the average worked out, then the maximum of that, going by that, is actually then closer to 1.8 mil.
Yeah, so you know those, there you go. So you know all those 5-star gems we talked about? You stupid bastard, might have thought you only needed 5. Well, guess what, bucko? You need 36. You need 36 5 out of 5-star gems.
Which all need upgraded to rank 10.
Which all need upgraded to rank 10, which itself is a absurdly resource-intensive thing to do. So there's a sort of hidden whale mechanic that appears when you upgrade a 5 out of 5-star gem to level 10 that's attached to a piece of gear that is above rank 6, where the 5 out of 5-star gem undergoes a process called awakening, where the 5 out of 5-star gem finally wakes up, because as we've talked about before, you only get sleepy gems in this game, and you have to wake them up. And there is a currency, like it does cost money to wake up your gem as well.
Awakening is, I think it's a one-time use item that costs about $15 worth.
Fog.
Just to upgrade your gear, because that's literally that's it. Like just $15 to upgrade it.
What happens when one of these wake up is it gets an additional 5 slots around it, and these allow for an additional 5 legendary gems to be slotted into it. And then each of those individual 5-star gems also has got to be upgraded to rank 10, meaning that you need 36 5 out of 5 to be fully awakened. Now, to awaken the gem, it costs 1,000 orbs. And then if you are lucky and you average about
Where is my target?
$15,000 per 5 out of 5 star gem? Is that really the numbers we're looking at?
No, okay, so that was $15,000. That is closer to the maximum that was discovered there. The
Yeah.
average is actually a little bit lower than that. But, oh wait, no, maybe that's including the 5 out of 5. No, sorry, that must be including it been ranked up to. So it is.
Right.
Because it's so genuinely confusing and so multi-layered that you kind of go, okay, so you're talking about the upgraded version of the 5 out of 5, and then you need another 6 of those. Or another 5 of those to slot in.
So you need all that shit. And then, of course, you know, the duplication. You need dupe gems for your upgrades. So if you've got good luck, this person saying 540 grand, over $1 million for those who are unlucky. I've heard the over $1 million number before, so I think that does stand to reason. And this is one thing I remember. There was someone, I don't know if they're from China or they live in China, because we've actually had a few comments from people in the region, and they've basically said like, oh, like, dude, no, the next thing that's going to happen is they're going to add a Giga Whale mechanic at the end that like you won't discover until you get to that stage. This is the sort of thing.
Yeah, resonance.
Yeah.
Resonance. Yeah.
And all of this, as you said, completely, increases your resonance, and that just makes you extremely untouchable, unkillable, powerful.
Welcome to Mobile Legends.
Fighting each other in PvP, yeah, sure, whatever. But their design.
5 seconds till the enemy reaches the battlefield. Smash them! All troops deployed. Fate forced me to become an assassin.
The oil baron, and they're fighting, and it just turns into a situation where it's like, okay, fucking Mr. Stockbroker, broke ass motherfucker, only has 5,000 resonance.
A truly wise man will not tell you the truth
that he paid for. So what are you going to do, Mr. Stockbroker? Are you going to let him beat you? Hell no.
No.
Put those gains.
Give me names, and I will give you
There
blood.
You go.
Crazy.
That's it. That's it. And hey, they want play to earn across multiple titles. That's the whole.
What's the truth?
They're trying to build crypto gaming. So this is what they're trying to put into every game. Because as soon as you look at, the crypto bro that we
served the light while working in the dark.
He's talking about. Just swipe and
Yeah, I mean, that's how to go into like the.
It wasn't me who chose King of Light. The king chose me.
Gameplay, but that audio, it's not quite
First blood.
That is kind of the
one life is just enough.
They are already training people to play to earn, but they're playing to earn digital currency. They're playing to earn.
An ally has been slain.
The real key to unlocking this.
An ally has been slain.
Valuable, which we've seen in Neo Kuni Crossworlds. Because
it wasn't me who chose King of Light, but the king chose me.
And that's the cycle. Imagine you're playing but whenever you win PvP, instead
one
of
life
little,
is just enough.
You're the greatest. You're the best person ever. You're incredible. You have your ego struct. You also reward. And then you've got this
Fate forced me to become an assassin.
Well, that's what they're trying to do explicitly in Ni no Kuni, where the higher rank you are in PvP, and I think also
Enemy has slain.
the better you
A truly wise man would not tell you the truth.
We're what?
An ally has slain the turtle.
Filipino agency worker system, because
We served the light
what
while
you
working.
were having is the West weren't buying powerful accents for them to use. They were buying them and then landing them
What's the
people
truth?
in other countries. So right now we talk about people investing in a gacha game, as you were saying, in like Ni no Kuni, and get more powerful so you can get more whatever the
Launch give me names. Die with blood.
that. This is very questionable situation.
What's the truth?
Of outsourcing this and it's a bit strange because I suppose like the Axie Infinity situation for the people in the Philippines, that was like really great. There's this example.
A truly
of this town,
wise man will not tell you the truth.
there's not the economic prospects, and they can go and with Axie Infinity they can actually earn pretty good money for their region, and that can be good for their quality of life. But I would just wonder what happens when this sort of happens on a mass distributed basis. So instead of
Wasn't me who chose King of Light.
the whole chain
The king chose me.
instead of being a few agents, it's basically just a warehouse full of lads grinding away for 14 hours a day.
Or a prison full of lads.
Or
He
prison full of
served
lads.
the light
That
while
literally happens.
working in the
Crazy.
dark.
I mean, what happens when... I mean, what happens when the prison labor that happens, that weird shit that goes on in
Enemy
the
has been
prison
slain.
industrial complex, but they're all just sitting there playing Ni no Kuni. Bit of a strange image to think about. But like, what
One
happens
life
when-
is just enough.
And
You have slain an enemy.
then it just feels really morally weird to me. I'm not cool with that whatsoever.
Yeah, I think the term
It
like
just it feels like it can only end in a very exploitative way.
yeah, I mean the term it's exactly
Yeah.
kind of here's a video game that you get to play and you pay some
Fate forced me to become an
How do we
assassin.
turn gamers into serfs in this digital economy, in this mobile
Your
gaming
team
world?
destroyed a
Eventually
turret.
PC gaming, because that line's getting a little bit blurry. It's got blurry with Genshin Impact. It's getting blurry with Diablo Immortal. It's getting a little bit blurry with Lost Ark.
Give me names and I will give you blood. Nothing is true. You have slain an enemy. Nothing is true. Launch attack. Wasn't me who chose King of Light. The king chose me. Ally slain the turtle.
Whole murky area.
Enemy
But
has been
that's
slain. Request
everything
backup.
is going very quickly
Yeah.
into
Enemy
everyone
has been
is
slain.
buying their digital items for money, or they're paying other people to farm. the
Truly
digital
wise
digital items for
man
money.
will not
It's
tell
all
you the
just going to
truth.
turn into. We're going to leave this situation. where
One
we
life
have, like,
is
money
just
back
enough.
in
Initiate retreat.
professional lives, and now what they're trying to do is to extend that way of thinking into
Killing spree.
so that
Initiate
we can
retreat.
become, I guess, consumers, so that we can consume more, right? Like all of this stuff is to you going out in nature,
Mega kill.
you're doing some exercise, learning to cook a new meal,
Shut down.
and they're just trying to just build a Skinner box in your real life.
What's the
instead of
truth?
being a addictive game.
Enemy has been slain.
And I think we can summarize this whole thing with one very simple statement. That is, fuck you. It's
Serve
forever.
the light while working in the dark.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
That's exactly it. Fuck you, it's forever.
It's forever.
Ally has you destroyed the turret.
Yeah, I mean, doesn't that sound wonderful?
Give me names and I will give you
Wouldn't
blood.
you love to play a video game and get paid for it? But you're not playing a video game, you're working.
Enemy has been slain.
Sort of video game that you earn
Fate
money for
forced
playing.
me to become an assassin.
Never really playing the same way you would play a game you'd
Our
actually
turret has been destroyed.
That is what gets kind of spooky. I mean, I imagine.
Give me names and I will Launch give you blood.
Are
attack.
they going to? I'm sure they're earning or something. Are they all just going to enjoy the
Launch
What's
attack.
the truth? Over time, if they do that for a year or two, and don't.
Your team destroyed a turret. Has been slain.
Maybe they love art, and then they make art their job. Now they hate art. They have.
We
blocks,
served
they
the light
struggle
while
with art.
Initiate retreat. Request backup.
Yeah, and it's not even like this is all hypothetical, because this is the fun thing. We know earlier about the stuff in China. None of
One
this is
life
a-
is
this
just
stuff
backup.
happened
Ally has been slain.
and then, well, what was
Fate forced me to become an assassin.
that idea of
Your team
this is
destroyed
playing
a
a game
turret.
for money. You're having fun and making money. What
It
about
wasn't
you?
me turret
Go
is who under chose King of attack. Light.
and watch any of
The
the
king
farmer
chose
documentaries.
me.
And there
Our
are quite a few
turret
out
has
there,
been
and you
destroyed.
just see these Chinese.
Launch attack. Truly wise men will not
And they're
tell
like,
you
yeah,
the truth.
this was great at the start, and now I have all these posture and health issues because I'm playing the game 18 hours a day,
Request backup.
and I'm not really enjoying it anymore. It's now my job, so all that stuff isn't new.
We serve the light
I guess
while working in the dark.
talk about NFTs. the people in
Request
making these
backup.
decisions and driving these and talking don't really think about the long-term effects.
Give me
They're
names
just
and
like,
I will love.
Yeah, the people who build this, they get VC money. They're wealthy. They're also
One life is just enough.
They're maybe not going to be the best at empathizing with people who are not in a similar financial situation to them or a similar cultural background to them.
It wasn't me
And I
who
think this is
chose
just
King
gonna
of
have
Light.
really bad
The
impact
king
on-
chose me.
Video. I do have a final one.
What's the truth?
Games, and I thought, hang on a second. I'm going to try putting our game into that series. I went through the
Truly
ranking.
wise man
So
will not
we are,
tell you the
As
truth.
of yesterday, it's like the 310th most wishlisted upcoming games. So, if you are interested in the
Fate forced me to become an
maybe this is
assassin.
the game I'd be interested in, do wish this in Steam. Who knows where we'll end up in that ranking? A bit of sly self-promo done. Thank you for watching. Let us know what you think, especially if you've had yourself any experience in this realm. And
An ally has been slain. Initiate retreat. Give me names and I will give you blood. We served the light while working in the dark. Fate forced me to become an assassin. It wasn't me who chose King of Light, but the king chose me. Truly wise man will not tell you the truth. Ally has been slain. One life is just nothing is true. Ally has been slain. What's the truth? Initiate retreat! Enemy rampage! One life is just enough. Request back! Our turret has been destroyed. Our turret has been destroyed. Request backup! Our turret is under attack. Our turret has been destroyed. Shut down! The enemy has slain. Our turret is under attack. Shut down! An enemy has been slain. We served the light while working in the dark.
Alright, so I was looking around the internet the other day to find a video idea, and I came across this really disturbing theory on Reddit with a really dramatic title.
Truly
The
wise
2022
man
real
will
estate
not
collapse
tell you
is going
the
to be
truth.
worse than the 2008
Nothing you have slain
I'm
an enemy.
So, someone on the internet says that the world is coming to an end.
Double kill.
Alright, in today's video, I want to talk about this housing crash theory that's going around the internet. Now first, I want to say that normally I'm not someone who pays much attention to these kind of things because there's always someone on the internet talking
What's
about
the
the market
truth?
coming to an end, and eventually one of them turns out to be right, just like a broken clock is right twice a day. But this theory specifically stood out to me because of
Wasn't
this
me
chart
who
right
chose
here. It's
King
the
of Light.
comparison between something
He
called
chose
margin
me.
debt and the median price of homes sold. And you can see just how close these two charts really are. And this is disturbing because margin debt is extremely risky. So if the reason why housing values are going up is because investors are taking on more risk at an increasing amount of profit margin thanks to interest rates now going higher, then that's a bad sign, because the
Give
last
me
thing you want to
names
do
and I
is turn
will
the
give
real
you
estate market
blood.
into a casino. So I continued reading, and by the end of it, I thought, that's a very interesting theory. Secondly, I want to give credit to the Super Stonk subreddit, which is where I first saw this theory.
One
and
life
contrary
is
to
just
the dramatic
Nothing is true.
but it's also very complex, and sometimes my brain is really smooth. So hopefully by the end of this video, we can get our brains to be a little bit more linkier, and even if this theory is wrong, I think you'll still learn a lot by the end. Or you might not.
Wasn't me
We'll
who
probably
chose
still
King
waste
of
15
Light.
minutes one way or another
King
somewhere, and what
chose
better
me.
way is there to waste it than talking about
What's the
macroeconomics?
truth?
Am I right? Let's just get right into it. Hi, my name is Isaac. Hope you're well, from finance, and stay to the film. Now, I sound a little bit different today. It's because I feel a little under the weather. And also, I want to say
Truly
that
wise
this theory
man,
is not
not
necessarily something that I personally subscribe to, like you should my channel. Something in my eye. I just want to help explain a really popular theory that people are talking about on the internet. And the first
Give me
reason behind
names.
why this
Nothing
theory
is
suggests
true.
that is because of something called CMBSs, commercial mortgage-backed securities, which are loans for commercial buildings.
The surge
Things
will
like
light.
businesses, things like that, that have been packaged up and sold off as investments for other investors to buy and invest in. But here's where the first problem comes in. When Wall Street finds real estate, they're usually subject to one risk assessment, which is assets under management, or AUM. This is the amount of money that they are managing for their investors. So it's essentially like them coming up to a
Fate
bank and saying,
forced me
hey,
to
here's the
become an
size of my
assassin.
wallet. Can I get a loan now? And they get their loan and they go and buy real estate. But the truth behind the risks assessed with real estate is that it has less to do with the size of your wallet and more to do with things like rental rates,
One life.
local conditions, other things that have nothing to do with the size of the wallet. So that's the first small risk. But the second risk is a lot bigger, and that is how the
Wasn't me.
one of the reasons why big
king
banks,
chose
institutions,
me.
and hedge funds can borrow an insane amount of money is also because of their ability to shuffle money around really, really fast from A to B. Now, this was not money or fast. I just thought it was a cool card trick.
Nothing
Do
is
this with
true.
assets like commercial mortgage.
Nothing is true.
This solves the problem of liquidity, and this is a good thing because it allows them to force the sale of asset really fast. So if I'm a lender and I want my money back because my borrower is not paying me back, then I can force the sale of that asset to get my money back really, really fast.
Fate
But that's the
forced me
theory.
to become
And
an
here's where the
assassin.
problem comes in. The derivatives market is estimated to be anywhere between $500 trillion to $1 quadrillion. This is an insane amount of money because derivatives
Give
are
me names and I will give you blood.
it's a wazi, it's a woozy. It's just imaginary
Nothing is
derivatives are nothing more than like if you and I made a bet that you would smash the like button on this video, and someone else came along and made a bet on our bet, and someone else came along and made a bet on that person's bet, making a bet on our bet. That's how we've turned this thing into a casino. The real problem comes in is these derivatives can actually be used as funds or collateral to borrow more money. So if I'm a borrower, I could be like, I have a $5 billion bet with this other person over here. And if I can't pay you back, don't worry, I'll sell my bet to another sucker and just give you back the money real fast. So it's like going to the casino with borrowed money to ask the casino for more borrowed money, and then you go gamble and they give you the money because you have borrowed money, and now you're playing with the borrowed money. It's crazy. So leverage gone bad is what could trigger a derivatives market to collapse. For example, if Goldman Sachs is leveraged 200 to 1, which by the way is not a hypothetical, that is the actual amount of money they can leverage as of their last filing, that means for every $1 they have, they can borrow $200 against it. And that $1 is not just sitting there in their bank account, it's taking on risk. It's being invested somewhere. And if the value of that dollar fluctuates and goes down to, let's say, 50 cents, as we're seeing in the tech sector that's being destroyed, the stock market is in a bear market, there's a lot of risk going on. If they can't put up that extra collateral to make sure their loan is in good standing, then they have to sell one of their assets to pay for it. Now, right now, according to this theory, The biggest mistake that people are making about real estate is this. First, a quick word from today's sponsor, Oura Ring. Oura Ring allows you to track your sleep because good health starts with good sleep. Because good sleep helps prevent illness and disease, it supports weight management, it helps reduce stress levels, helps you to think more clearly, and just like good habits with investing, it starts by tracking your progress. It also has advanced health sensors, a 7-day battery life, water and extreme temperature resistance, and it also provides early sickness detection, sometimes before symptoms even show up, which is just crazy. I absolutely love the sleek design, I love how light it is, it weighs as much as a nickel, and it comes in timeless colors, which is perfect for every occasion.
After creating a gaming experience that defined an entire genre and carefully preserved its reputation by only releasing a sequel once a decade, discover what happens when Blizzard sheds every designer that matters and finally falls prey to the eventuality all video game IPs will face. Getting a watered-down mobile version that doesn't even pretend that it's not trying to grind money out of you like you're a Nephilim Rift.
You guys not have phones?
Yeah, you guys all have phones, right?
Diablo Immortal. Welcome to the future that this random guy in a red shirt warned us about,
Is this an out-of-season April Fool's joke?
where phones are now powerful enough to run an experience that kind of looks like Diablo 3, but they still haven't figured out the part where it sucks ass to play. As the sliver of skill and concentration that the PC franchise required is tossed aside, for sliding your greasy thumbs all over a tiny screen, auto-running to the next objective while you fall asleep on the bus, and loosely slapping your abilities around at anything that moves, in an experience that reviewers will call the best ARPG you can play on a phone, ignoring the fact that the rest of them feel about as fun as giving your grandparents an oil massage. Not that playing it on the PC is that much better, unless you're a fan of playing the cookie clicker version of Diablo. Discover an adventure somehow more repetitive than a normal Diablo storyline, set in between the existing games when an ancient evil has yet again been awakened. You'll choose a champion from a team of the exact same guys from Diablo 3, using largely the same abilities, and meeting up with all of the same guys from the real game, as you run around really familiar set dressings, where except for the usual expansive maps, they've been streamlined into extremely bite-sized chunks, as you quest to find 3 of a thing that you'll be guided to immediately, to fight a boss that you'll mash attack until it dies, and watch a cutscene to get shot to a new area to do the same thing over again, all of which combine to remind you that you could be playing a better version of this at all times, and make the differences feel like exactly what it is, a mundane imitation that you're supposed to no-brain while taking a shit. Take out a second mortgage to prepare for the actually terrible part of Diablo Immortal, the microtransactions, as the game gives you a solid 8-ish hours of leveling with relatively few upsells, then grinds to a halt as you run into level limits for story quests, forcing you to grind away at the same content over and over again, essentially stretching out 15 hours of actual gameplay into 30. Or of course you could just fork over some cash and make the game fun again, until you run into another gate a couple of hours later, and God forbid you get to the end game, where you'll endlessly grind hoping for legendary gems that will never drop for you, that you'll need to even contend in the pay-to-win PvP mode that you'll probably just stop playing once you get steamrolled by a character someone dropped a couple $100 on, all accumulating to an experience that will put off even people that initially liked this housefire of a game, leaving only Saudi princes and whales that clearly need a gambling intervention to flex on the poors, or so you would think, in a system which technically you don't have to pay to play if you don't plan on doing the endgame, PvP, or basically anything else that Diablo at this point is known for. You know, I think the most nefarious thing about this whole thing is the fact that you essentially have to work for the loot box that you paid for, which at this point, you're paying less for the items and more for the pain. Honestly, just pay someone to step on your balls. You'll probably save a lot more money. So clean that phone screen and get your parents' credit card ready for a game that is a ridiculously obscene attempt at maximizing monetization at worst and a middling mobile title at best, in a bitter experience that doesn't come from a lack of technical prowess, but from watching a thing you love get processed by the same garbage content churning machine as everything else. Also, if you thought the reception for Immortal was bad, it'll be 1,000 times worse if any of these systems pop up in D4. Unless they add enrolling for anime girls or topless men, then it's totally justified. Starring Sigma Grindset, Snooze Satyr, Renfair Raver, Kung Fu Hustler, Leaderboard Hunter, and Actual Cancer. Diablo Shadow Legends. I mean, come on. A Diablo game without inventory management? That's sacrilege. It's like making a sneaker without child labor. Tell us what you'd like to hear in my epic voice in the comments below. I'm gonna propose to my girlfriend when we get back to base. I even bought flowers. I was eating those beans. It was dark. I was in my towel when the ninjas attacked. Look behind you. No, not there. In the closet. You flicked too hard, damn it.
Yasuki?
Well, G7 leaders Russia for carrying out a missile strike on a busy shopping mall in central Ukraine, calling the attack a war crime. At least 18 people were killed on Monday when missiles hit the building in the city of 1,000 shoppers were reported inside the mall at the
Where is
time.
my target?
Ukraine has requested a United Nations Security Council meeting over the strike.
The rescue services work through the night, looking for survivors still trapped in the collapse. Dozens of severely injured victims, some with life-threatening wounds, have been taken to local hospitals in Kremenchuk. They describe harrowing scenes just after the Russian missiles struck.
I flew through the air and shrapnel hit my body. The whole place was collapsing. Then I landed on the floor, and I don't know if I was conscious or unconscious. I didn't understand anything. I opened my eyes and I saw a big piece of rubble was on top of me. And I started to scream, "Help me."
Officials say the missile struck when over 1,000 people were inside the shopping mall. Hundreds of rescue and emergency service workers are still scouring the rubble, searching for survivors.
According to the preliminary police report, there are still people inside the shopping center.
Kremenchuk is an important transportation hub and home to the country's biggest oil refinery. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky described the strike as a terrorist act designed to coincide with
Welcome to Mobile Legends!
maximum loss of life.
Only
5 seconds till the enemy reaches the battlefield. Smash
launch
them!
missiles at such an object.
All troops deployed! Give me names and I will give you
On the
blood.
shopping center.
Russia has recently stepped up its missile strikes across Ukraine.
What's the truth?
Kyiv on Monday killed 5 people and wounded 22 more, including 5 children, according to authorities. The northeastern city has suffered an invasion on February 25th.
Fate forced me to become an assassin.
There were such explosions, I don't even know how to describe them. Windows were shaking. Someone told me something happened to my father-in-law. I came close.
One life
He was
is
laying
just
down,
enough.
still alive. Within 10 minutes, he started wheezing, and that was it.
Despite Russia's claims, it isn't targeting civilians.
It wasn't me who chose King of Light. The King chose me. First blood!
Shahs in Kiev
Bring
asked her for an update on the shopping mall.
Well, Terry, over
An ally has been slain.
Accounted for.
An enemy has been slain.
Missile strike, and to just
A truly wise man will not tell you the truth.
This strike was. Well, the bodies are so badly burned that they will only be identified through DNA testing. The 60 over.
An enemy has been slain.
There's dozens of people still missing with the authorities, as was mentioned.
One life is just enough.
Now, I know you're also monitoring the reaction. It's been widely condemned.
What's the truth?
Of course. Tell us more about international reaction to this.
Well, first of the reactions here in Kiev was that
We served the light while working.
They have been accustomed to horrible reports of shedding of civilians, but on the international stage they have also been
Truly wise man will not tell you the truth.
That of the G7 leaders who issued a statement condemning this brutal attack. They also said that indiscriminate
Give me names and I will give you blood.
Constitute a war crime, and this happened, they say, as the Russia unfolded an unjustified war against also from the United Nations, which
Wasn't me who chose King of Light, but the king chose me.
Ends up
An enemy has been slain. Fate forced me to become an assassin. Nothing is true.
Strikes on Ukrainian cities by Russian forces. We've also seen a strike earlier in Kiev.
We served the light while working on the dark.
An ally has been slain. An enemy has been slain.
Well, Terry, the situation
One life is just
unfolds,
enough.
For a few months now, as it continues to be very dire in the Donbass region. In the city of Lysychansk, Russian troops tried to storm in from the southern flank of the city. Civilians are urged by Ukrainian
Give me
forces
names
to
and I will give you blood.
They can, but Terry, yesterday some of them were trying to get water. Show you the situation is civilians trying to get water where shells have been at least 7 died in that strike.
It wasn't me who chose King of Light. The king chose me.
Horror just unfolding of the country, and there's very much the feeling that nowhere in Ukraine.
Request backup.
Emma, thank you
Our
very
turret
much.
has
That was our
been
correspondent
destroyed.
Emma Shahs there in Kiev.
What's the truth? Nothing is true. Nothing
Has slain the turtle. You have slain an enemy. Have been slain.
Bring me peace. Fate forced me to become an assassin.
Earlier in the month, we started looking at Hans Wormhat's top 10 fake animals. We had the shoebill crane, the
A truly
sloth,
wise
and the
man
dodo.
will
We
not
looked at
tell you
entries
the
10 to
truth.
6, and I promised another video looking
An
at
ally
the
has
top
been
5.
slain.
Welcome to Hans Wormhat top 5 fake animals in the world.
Nothing is true.
An ally has been slain. An ally has been slain. You have slain an enemy.
Before we play, a massive thank you to the sponsors of today's video, Mel Science.
Fate forced me to become an assassin.
Experiments with VR and AR technologies to engage kids in studying science. They are definitely breaking the stereotype that science is boring, difficult, and only for certain by trying to make serious science accessible, interesting, and cool. Science about exploration, experiment,
Truly wise man will not
all
tell
of
you the
which
truth.
comes very naturally to children. And my son is no different. He asks what feels like a million questions a day. And he has recently taken a keen interest in crystals and what things are made from.
What's the truth?
An enemy has been slain.
Nothing is true. Nothing is down.
On a new chemistry topic every month and with free VR lessons in the Mel Chemistry app. As you can see, he got stuck in with all of it. The instructions were easy to follow. His interest in chemistry has grown exponentially. I was delighted with the result because not only but we'd also spent quality time together.
We
as
served
well.
the
Use
light
promo
while
code
working in the
SIMONDAN
dark.
to get a 50% discount on the first month of any Mel subscription, or just click the link in the description which already contains the promo code. But be quick, because this promo
One
code
life
has only got a
is
1
just
time
enough.
limit on it. Right, back to today's video, which, as I said at the start, is a top 5 fake animals video from Hans Wormhat. But before we get into it,
It wasn't me who chose King of Light, but the King chose me.
Anaconda, number 9,
Request
the
backup.
Bill, number 8, the dodo, number 7, the anteater,
Fate forced
and
me to
number
become an
6,
assassin.
the sloth. Obviously. So let's carry on where we left off and see Hans's top 5.
Bringing us to number 5 on the list, koalas.
It wasn't me who chose King of Light, but the King chose me.
YouTube, and you can clearly see it's CGI.
An ally has slain the turtle.
CGI. How can you tell
We
with that
served the
resolution,
light
Hans?
while
But
working
anyway,
in
a
the
lot of
dark.
you predicted the koalas.
This video is just
Nothing is true. A truly wise man will not.
Enemy has been slain. You have slain an enemy.
Koalas are people from Australia gatekeep this so bad. They're
One
those
life
big-time
is just
YouTube
enough.
Alleged truthers that
Ally has been slain.
are just stuff.
Well, yeah, you would tell her, wouldn't you? If someone was claiming that an animal indigenous to your country was fake,
Give me names, and I will give you blood.
You destroyed a turret.
Or a hoax. Photos of koalas, they're
What's the truth?
They don't grip objects, they just have like flat pancake hands. Anyways, this video is more about making this list, the top 10 list. I don't want to get into any one specific thing too much.
well, the koala is another one on this list that I have actually seen with my own eyes whilst I was in Australia. I stood this close.
We
to
served
them,
the
and I can
light
tell
while
you,
working in
they
the
are
dark.
100% real.
There was this viral koalas in the car, and everybody could tell that they were fake. And one of them switches, and everybody was
What's
like,
the
no,
truth?
An enemy has been slain. Ally has been slain. Ally has been slain. Enemy double kill. Our turret is under attack. Ally has been slain.
Never alive in the first place.
They're taxidermy. It's taxidermy. Taxidermy hoax.
Again, Hans, with taxidermy,
Request
It
backup.
wasn't me who chose King of
so
Light,
if you're saying
but the
taxidermy, then
King
you either
chose
don't
me.
know what that means, or you
Our turret has been destroyed.
Nothing is true.
Penguins.
No prizes for guessing that penguins will be on this list.
Our
Again,
turret
if you
is
said
under
penguins,
attack.
Well done.
Emperor. Orange. Emperor.
Fate forced me to become an assassin.
It's not icy Antarctica. There's a lot of hoaxery when it comes to Antarctica. And Emperor penguins. Emperor is 33. And
One life
they're
is
animatronics.
just enough.
That's why you
Enemy
see
killing spree.
in the zoo. Except for nowadays they do, but they put them far in the back.
Our turret is under attack. Our turret has been
Well,
destroyed.
they're generally not taking captivity.
Enemy has been slain. Our turret is under attack.
Fantastic species, replicating their environment.
Nothing is true.
You have been slain.
Hey, number 2. Is this really number 2? Maybe I lost that. Great white sharks are a hoax.
Oh my days, he's lost count and everything. So, number...
Enemy has been slain.
For years after the Russian Federation was put for a small time, there were hopes that the cold
truly
would find its
wise
way to
man
embracing
will not
better
tell you
relationships
the
with
truth.
West.
Request backup.
Advantage toward the election of President Vladimir Putin, the Cold War-era Soviet spy who was still stuck with a Cold War mentality.
Fate
Our
forced
turret
me
is
to
under
become an
attack.
assassin.
But the dream of Soviet greatness
Our
wasn't
turret
dead.
has been
The one
destroyed.
thing that separated this dream and the new Russian Federation was the West. In Putin's eyes, Russia
It
was
wasn't
forever
me
locked
who
in a
chose
zero-sum
King of
game.
Light,
And
but the
there could only
king
be
chose
one
me.
victor. As the Soviet Union disintegrated, newly freed Soviet
Shut down.
and the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. For those former republics and United States, it was the only way to guarantee their independence after decades of and
What's the
oppression.
truth?
The Soviet Union might be gone, but nobody had any illusions about the Russian Federation suddenly
Our
being
turret is
in
under
contact
attack.
with the world. And the election of Vladimir Putin.
Truly
only
wise man will not tell you the truth.
Ally has been slain.
the alliance would not
Enemy has been slain. Ally has been slain. Ally has been enemy double kill. Initiate retreat.
While the nation was divided, there had never been any discussions about NATO not expanding eastward toward Russia's
Give me
borders
names,
after
and
the
I will
collapse,
give you
as
blood.
confirmed by Soviet President Mikhail Gorbachev. That
Our
doesn't mean
turret
that
is
Russia
under
didn't
attack.
want
Our
NATO.
turret has been
It's just
destroyed.
that there was no formal agreement.
Nothing is true.
You have slain an enemy.
Past historical invasions of
Our
Russia
turret has
by
been
foreign
destroyed.
powers. The nation suffered greatly from foreign invaders. and
We
thus
served the light
Stalin
while
worked
working in
hard
the
to
dark.
ensure that Eastern Europe remained under his influence. Europe was
One life is just enough.
using it as a security buffer between itself and the West. The buffer served two purposes. First, it was a physical barrier
Fate
to
forced
invasion,
me to
after
become an
both the German
assassin.
invasions and the invasion of the French during the Russia suffered
Nothing has been
Europe was
slain.
now a shield that protected the motherland.
Killing spree.
Millions of
Enemy has
would
been
themselves
slain.
be thrown into war to protect the Soviet Union.
Your
placing the
team
nation in the
destroyed a
strongest
turret.
position it's enjoyed since the heights of the Russian Empire. But this barrier was also an ideological one, meant to
A
keep
truly
Western
wise
capitalist
man will
influence
not
away from
tell you the
Soviet
truth.
homeland. The power of the Communist Party depended on keeping Stalinist ideology alive inside the Soviet Union. Liberal Western values and democracies threatened
Give me
This
names,
is
and
never
I
been
will
more
give you
true than
blood.
Rampage.
Rise to power.
Enemy double kill.
As an infection in Russia because they threaten President Putin's
What's the
absolute power
truth?
on the Russian government. For Putin, Russia today is under assault by Western culture, and he spent great efforts in waging a propaganda war within and outside his borders. The last thing Putin or his elites want is a free, democratic Russia, and the only way they can prevent the ever-brewing political unrest amongst the population is by creating boogeymen out of the West to unite.
Wasn't me. Nothing is true. Nothing is
Enemy has been slain. Ally has been slain.
There was a
We served the light while working in the
But as
dark.
Russia exerted more pressure on Ukraine, a growing movement to form
Initiate
a
retreat.
grew inside Ukraine. Putin attempted to suppress this desire through intimidation. And by
One
using
life
propaganda
is
inside
just
Ukraine,
enough.
even by infiltrating its government. In 2014, the situation came
Request backup. Enemy has been slain. Our inhibitor turret is under attack.
deeper into the West's
Request backup.
politically. Instead, President Yanukovych ignored the overwhelming desire to sign this agreement and chose to draw closer
What's
to
the
Russia
truth?
and the Eurasian Economic Union, headed by the Russian Federation and made up of former Soviet states. The result was a meeting in a full-blown civil insurrection.
Nothing is true.
The Ukrainian
Nothing is true.
Russia being a fascist the revolution of dignity as
We served the light while working in the dark.
buildings across Ukraine and the expulsion of President Viktor Yanukovych from power. Soon after, Yanukovych went into exile in Russia, and Russia responded to the
One
coup,
life
taking
is just enough.
supporting the breakaway provinces of Luhansk and Donetsk. Russia orchestrated pro-Russian Gestapo and forced
The enemy has slain Lord.
without insignia stormed into the Parliament of Crimea.
Wasn't me who chose King of Light. The king chose me.
With the peninsula secure, the Russian Federation installed the pro-Russian Sergei Askinov into power. Shortly after, there was a referendum that resulted in a representative
Give me names, and I will give you blood.
Initiate retreat!
president, those votes were not verified by any independent agency, and the United Nations voted overwhelmingly to consider the referendum illegal. Thus, to this
Our inhibitor comes assassin.
to use nuclear weapons, nobody sought to use military.
Nothing is true. Nothing is true.
Mega kill!
He's dead.
An ally has been our turret has been destroyed. Our inhibitor turret is under attack. Our turret has been destroyed.
Also, really somewhat given up over time, as even the Russians, as it came to be known, would rage until
Defeat!
culminating in Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. The real question is, though, what does President Vladimir Putin really want to do with Ukraine when the war is all over? The answer depends on how the war ends. The least likely way that this war ends is with a full occupation of Ukraine by Russian forces. Initially, Putin claimed that he had no occupying any part of Ukrainian territory, and that his advance on Kyiv was merely meant to remove what he called pro-Western Nazi government from power. In the early stages of war, this might have been true. Putin may truly have not wished to physically occupy Ukraine, and instead settled for installing a puppet government. This would turn Ukraine into a client state, much like Belarus, without the hassle of having to pacify an inevitable insurrection by physically occupying it. It would also achieve his grand aim of weakening NATO by denying it yet another member, especially his soft southern belly. However, as the Russian advance into Kyiv faltered and then failed entirely, Putin's strategy began to radically change as well. Accepting that he would be unable to take Kyiv and topple the government, Russian forces instead focused on breaking out of the separatist regions and seizing the all-important Ukrainian southern coast along the Sea of Azov. With this coastline firmly under Russia's control, Vladimir Putin now has a land corridor from Russia straight to Crimea, and Crimea's water supply can no longer be threatened by Ukrainian dams, as had happened after the annexation, when Ukraine blocked Crimea's drinking water in retaliation to the invasion. This land corridor, however, also gives Russia complete control over the Sea of Azov, essentially turning it into a Russian lake. Putin's forces now try to push north and west out of the land corridor, and seem to want to take as large a chunk of Ukraine as possible. What's more important, however, is extending a corridor to the west, all the way to Odessa and the Moldovan border. This would give Russia complete control over Ukraine's shipping ports and thus allow it to choke off Ukraine economically, but also allow it to link up with its forces inside the Moldovan breakaway region of Transnistria. Russia currently has 1,500 personnel there, and it's greatly feared that linking a land corridor across southern Ukraine will allow it to move more forces into the region and eventually take all of Moldova. This will give Russia control over half of the Black Sea and extend a security buffer out from Russia's vulnerable southern regions in case of a war with NATO. It's now certain that Putin wishes to completely annex occupied territories inside of Ukraine, as starting May 1st, the ruble was introduced as the official currency in the occupied areas that remain relatively stable and in Russian hands. Street and building signs were also all taken down and replaced with their Russian equivalent, and Russia guaranteed the pension payments of Ukrainian pensioners living in the territories. Even more importantly, Russian state TV was brought to the occupied territories, allowing Russia to feed those living under occupation a steady stream of Russian propaganda. Putin's goal is now territorial expansion, and it seems as if his plans for Ukraine hinge on what happens next in the war. Russian forces seem incapable of truly taking the whole of Ukraine, and the commitment by the West, especially the United States, to arm the Ukrainians makes it a complete impossibility that Russia will be able to take over the entire country. However, Russian forces may be able to seize that all-important land corridor to Moldova and take Odessa, even though this is in question, seeing as 3 months into the war, Russia is yet to bring Mariupol under its full control. Further west, Kherson is a critically important city to capture, and as of the writing of this video, Ukrainian forces are launching successful counterstrikes against Russian forces around the city. This makes a breakout to Odessa extremely unlikely, but this isn't Russia's only problem. Corruption and incompetence across all levels of the Russian military have resulted in massive casualties and great loss of equipment in the invasion. The effects of these losses on Russia's ability to continue fighting are only compounded by the astounding amount of sanctions levied against Russia by the international community. Of greatest importance, though, are those targeting Russia's foreign reserves, which fund the war, and of which half have been frozen by Western governments. Of second most importance is the complete ban on selling electronic components to Russia, which are desperately needed by its military to rearm itself with 21st century weapons. Already, Russian drones and other advanced weapons are being discovered with computer chips ripped out of coffee makers and dishwashers, and Russian jet fighters have been discovered with commercial GPS devices taped to the dash. With the West feeding Ukraine a steady diet of high-tech Western weapons, and with Russia's own stockpile of advanced equipment drying up, it's becoming increasingly impossible for Russia to truly win inside Ukraine. As Europe is committed to an incremental ban on Russian energy imports over the next year or so, Russia's economic situation will only grow more desperate, and its ability to continue this conflict will be in serious jeopardy. Russia is thus likely to attempt to settle the war by holding on to territories it's managed to secure, adding them to the Russian Federation, and weakening Ukraine. Ukraine itself has been willing to compromise by becoming a neutral nation, with neutrality enshrined in its constitution and thus seeking no closer ties to the West. However, Ukraine wishes to have guarantor states sign this neutrality agreement, with nations legally bound to come to Ukraine's defense in case of another Russian invasion. Yet, as reports of Russian brutality against civilians continue to surface from occupied areas, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has stated that he is less and less interested in such a deal. Ultimately, unless Russia achieves some miraculous battlefield reversals, Putin's future plans for Ukraine may not matter at all. Now go watch What's Wrong with the Russian Military, or hurry and click this other video instead.
I'm Brent Goff. It's good to have you with us. We begin with breaking news and a green light for NATO expansion. After 6 weeks of debate, NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg says that Turkey has agreed to support the bids of Finland and Sweden to become members of the military alliance, ending a major debate over the issue. The three countries have signed a joint memorandum to, quote, extend their full support against threats to each other's security. Now, this is a reversal by Turkish President Erdogan, who had opposed Swedish and Finnish membership, claiming that the countries provide shelter to a Kurdish group that Ankara regards as terrorists. The successful resolution of the row over the Nordic country's membership is a big boost to NATO as it seeks to bolster its defenses in the face of Russia's war in Ukraine. Here's NATO Secretary General Stoltenberg announcing the breakthrough just a few moments ago.
In NATO, we have that whatever our differences, we can always sit down, find common ground, and resolve any issues. NATO's open door policy has been an historic success. Welcoming Finland and Sweden into the alliance will make them safer, NATO stronger, and the Euro-Atlantic area more secure.
All right, let's go now to our correspondent, Jack Perrick. He is at that NATO summit in Madrid for us. Jack, they have been talking about this now for weeks, worried that Turkey was going to stand in their way. That has changed. How did this reversal come to be?
Well, they've been in talks before the NATO summit has started, Brent. This has been an extensive set of talks this afternoon into this evening, and we've just had now this announcement that Turkey is removing its bloc. Now, what does it involve, this memorandum that we're talking about? We haven't actually got it in paper form yet, but from the press conference that Jens Stoltenberg gave, I'll just run you through exactly what he said. He said that the two major agreements between Turkey, Finland and Sweden are firstly on arms control. We don't exactly know the details of that yet, but the second is on terrorism and trying to work together to counter terrorism. And we know that they have agreed that they will, and this is what they say, is to commit to tackle threats to the national security of Turkey and to crack down on PKK on extradition. This is an interesting detail because Turkey accuses Finland and Sweden of harbouring members or connected people to the PKK terrorist organisation, the terrorist separatist group. And the big question is, what will this agreement now mean? Will those people that have found safe harbour in Finland and Sweden, who claim to be fighting for their freedoms against Turkey in the conflict between those two, people, two areas, will they now face extradition? Jens Stoltenberg said that this will all be done under European human rights law, but he also said that tomorrow, when the leaders meet in earnest, all 30 NATO leaders, that they will invite Sweden and Finland to join the NATO military alliance.
Yeah, I mean, the details there, it sounds like the details have to be finalized on that, but we do have a green light. And so what is this going to mean, Jack, then for the summit, this NATO summit that you're attending in terms of support for Ukraine?
It's a really interesting one, I think, Brent, because I think we were all expecting that this two-day summit was going to be a real grind over this issue. US President Joe Biden, who's already arrived here in Madrid, he was meant to be meeting tomorrow directly one-on-one with Recep Tayyip Erdogan, the Turkish president, to try and hammer out this issue. But now it looks like it's resolved. All of the foreign ministers of the three countries have now sat down and resolved this, which means, as you say, that they can focus on Ukraine. We already know that NATO is going to put 300,000 troops on high alert on the eastern flank of the military alliance over the concerns of what Russia's doing. And now really they can also get to grips with tackling how they're going to support Ukraine, which all of the NATO military alliance wants to do, specifically with weapons. We've had the Klitschko brothers here in the press room earlier saying that they need weapons in Ukraine in order to fight this invasion. But also now, Brent, it does open up some other discussions. A lot of analysts have been saying that perhaps China's militarization needs to be confronted, and that might leave some space in the agenda over the two-day summit coming up to discuss other issues as well.
Okay. It's okay. Oh, it's okay. It's okay. Positive. Positive. One skin. Is my mic on? Yep, mic is on. One skin. I don't have one skin. No, I don't have one skin. Is there one skin somewhere here? I've got a kitty cat skin. Meow, 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 meow. Kitty cat skin. How's that? Is that worth anything? Kitty cat skin. Cat, cat. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow. Mm. Okay, bye-bye, Suki. Bye-bye. Suki doesn't like. Bye-bye, Suki. Ugh. How cute. Okay, how cute. Yeah, Suki is pretty cute, but she's the saddest cat in the house. I don't know why she's always so sad. Life is good, right, Suki? Suki. No, don't sit on the keyboard, Suki. Suki. No, not on the keyboard. No. That's why I tell Suki not to go. That's why I tell Suki the keyboard, right? Something just explodes. The stream just explodes. Everything just gets spoiled. That's Suki. That's Suki. Not on the keyboard. Oh my god, 30-minute queue for fucking Grandmaster game. Are you fucking kidding me? Nonsense, man. Look at that nonsense. 13 minutes. 13 fucking minutes. 13 minutes up there. Ready? Baby cat. Baby cat. Fish. Whatever. Why is my mic, Suki? Why is my mic on mute again? Suki, can you tell me why is my mic on mute? Suki. Suki keeps standing on the keyboard. No, I did not buy any skins on this account. 0 diamonds. But on my Why the fuck is my mic on mute all the time? Why the fuck is my mic on mute all the time? This is very weird. Anyways, I don't really spend money on skins. If I spend money, I'll spend it on like events like King of Fighters. Like I'll roll 10 times and I'll get a Karina skin. But it's not on this account. It's on the top 3 accounts. 1, 2, 3. This one here, and this one here. Those are the ones I spend a bit of money on. Is my mic off? No, my mic is not off. Like, why does bad cat? Beep 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 beep. Suki. Can I check out this account? Can I check out what skins you have or whatever? I don't think so, right?
I'm born with talent.
Yeah, like myself. History. History has been hidden. Alright. This season is 73% win rate. Okay, that's not bad. Not bad. Leslie is my favorite. Nana is my favorite. Lunox, all the old characters. Let's check out the rank on this one. What's the win rate for this account?
I hope they're stronger than me.
Win rate 67. 67.92. That's not bad. Not bad. You were supposed to get his skin from my friend, but I didn't get that, so I was waiting. What skin is that? What skin were you supposed to get? Favorite? Yi Sun Chin, really? 1-1 skin. Oh, okay. Alright, this is
To me, fun is all that. To me, fun is all.
Ugh, really? This looks terrible.
To me, fun is all that matters.
Really? Okay.
Welcome to my imaginary world. To me, fun is all that matters.
Oh wow, okay. That's a bit happening for a skin. Wow, am I still in the queue? I'm still in the queue, right? Jesus Christ. I just want to play a game, for heaven's sake. What's taking so long? Oh my god, come on, come on. Am I in NA? No, I'm not in NA. I'm in Singapore. Nope, Singapore server. I think it's in my stream description. Yep, English Asia Singapore. MLBB and cats. What the hell? What? Come on, give me a game. You're on NA, huh? Cool, cool, cool. I don't think Mobile Legends is as popular in NA as it is in this region of the world. Like Indonesia, Philippines. Those are, I think, those are the biggest market for Mobile Legends. Pretty big. China as well, but China is a whole different market. China's market is different from the rest of the world. How's things in America at the moment? Not much news coming out of America except for the school shooting again. Nonsense. Yeah, hello. Why is it taking so long for a Grandmaster game? Are you serious? Nobody wants to play Mobile Legends. Click on it. Click on what? Oh, what am I supposed to be clicking on? The red dot? Is there a red dot somewhere? Where? This one? This one does nothing. Does nothing. Ooh, what's this? Saber? Really? Well, what the hell do you get? Nah, man, I'm not fucking spending money on this shit. What do you get? Oh, wow, okay, $16 for a skin. Oh, you actually get skin $16. What the hell? Nah, I'm not paying $16 for a fucking skin, man. And buy a whole game for $16. You thought I forgot skin? Nah. Sometimes that's true, but in this case, no, it's not. Why am I waiting here for a game? Like, this is ridiculous. Nothing to claim. Oh, wow, come on. This is ridiculous, man. What's on YouTube? What is on YouTube?
The number that Bellier has quoted was wrong. It's not only going to be $100,000 to max out a character. It's going to be $500,000. Can you believe that? So this is the Diablo Immortal new whale mechanics. Over $500,000 to get your character geared per season.
That is one big pile of shit.
That's just about right. Yep. Sure is.
Hello everyone and welcome to Action RPG. I'm your host Aaron, and for today's video we're headed to the world of the champion of predatory microtransactions. The king of the hill where it comes to sticking it to the community.
Oh, seriously?
And that is
I just want to play a game.
Immortal. A new mechanic has been found that shows that
Hey, Terry.
that's nothing.
Terry.
That's what you get started with.
Terry. Oh, Terry.
Over
Oh, Terry.
100 grand,
Oh, Terry.
that's nothing. Half $1 million.
Terry. Okay.
You're probably thinking, Aaron, that's not possible.
Terry, not on the keyboard, okay?
Don't
Terry,
believe
not
you.
on keyboard.
One of the worst, if not the worst, cash shops, predatory microtransactions.
Alright. Pick I'm gonna play Mia, I'm not gonna play Natalia. Nah, this brawl, man, I'm not waiting for ranked.
In China. Engagement for the game.
Which one? I'm playing Mia. I'm not playing Natalia in this.
I am the moonlight that breaks through the darkness.
Okay.
Mia is the better option. Yeah, definitely. Definitely Mia is a better option. Cut. Inspire. No idea what my build is, but whatever. I was supposed to play rank, but it's like fucking hell, man. Why am I not getting any in the rank kill? Like nobody's playing rank. Are you kidding me? Terry. How's Terry? How's Terry? Terry, sit down. It's alright. Alright, Terry. Why is it so hot? There are 2 cats on the table. Too many cats. Too many cats here, Terry. There's not enough real estate here.
Welcome to Mobile Legends! Five seconds till the enemy reaches the
Can you send the cat the laptop so you can touch it?
All troops deployed.
What you gotta retap that question again. I didn't quite understand what the question is about. You want me to?
You can't run from my arrow.
Oh no, I'm first blood. Let's not do anything stupid again. One second, I'm taking the health.
Where do you think you're going?
This is not working out well for me.
An ally has been slain. An enemy has been slain. The way of the moon forever shine upon us.
Oh man, you're dead, aren't you?
An ally has been slain.
Terry Cat, why did you turn off my tablet, Terry Cat? Terry! Well, at least I'm not dead, right?
Wise choice. Watch your back. You have been slain. Enemy double kill. Our turret is under attack. Enemy killing spree.
I'm not doing very well. I blame the cats. They're all over the table like this. One
Wise
here,
choice.
one there.
Where do you think you're going? May the moon forever shine upon us. You can't run from my arrow.
you gonna do, man? Like, seriously? Oh, what's the point of that? Oh yeah, thanks.
You have been slain.
Thanks, buddy.
Shut down.
Send... Mages are the best for brawls, yup. Marksman takes too long to...
The way of the arrow. Swift,
Mages take too
silent,
long
and
to...
precise.
what the fuck do you call it? To gear up.
Enemy has been slain.
Mages are good out of the box.
An ally has been slain. Shut down. Enemy double kill. You have been slain. Enemy triple kill.
I get no backup. No backup.
Our turret is under attack.
I'm doing terribly, by the way.
Our turret has been destroyed.
How are my teammates? Teammates are terrible as well.
I can handle that.
He's dead, right? Yep. He dead.
May the moon forever shine upon us. Watch your back. I can handle that.
Ally has been slain. An ally has been slain.
You have to go. Cool. I'll catch you later, alright? Nice talking to you too.
Enemy double kill. Enemy triple kill. Our inhibitor turret is under attack. Enemy has been slain. An ally has been slain.
Wise
Enemy
choice.
rampage.
Where do you think you're going?
Shut down. Double kill.
Forever shine upon us.
Shut down. Triple kill. Launch attack.
You can't run from my
You
arrow.
destroyed a turret.
The way of the arrow. Swift, silent, and precise.
$540,000.
Enemy has been slain.
Watch your back.
An ally has been enemy double kill. Enemy triple kill.
May the moon forever shine upon us.
You have slain an enemy.
Where do you think you're going?
Diablo Immortal.
Mega kill. Shut down. Enemy rampage. You have slain an enemy. Shut down. Double kill. Shut down.
The
Eclipse. On a Weeaboo post its official account, it could be quite a while before it does. According to translation. translations of the post.
An ally has been slain. Enemy has been slain.
See your Diablo Immortal Weibo account mocks Xi Jinping. The post reads, "Why isn't Winnie the Bear?" Really, I don't know if Winnie's added. Why isn't the bear out of office yet? And makes reference to Winnie the Pooh, which Xi has been compared to in the past.
An ally has been slain.
Fond of these comparisons.
I can handle
Social
that.
subreddit, a post reported the ban included an excerpt from Chinese Diablo fan who provided more
An
context.
ally has been slain.
The guy who works at Diablo
Wise choice. May the moon forever shine upon us. You have slain an enemy. You have been slain. An ally has been slain. An enemy has been slain. An ally has been slain. Our inhibitor turret is under attack. Has been destroyed. Enemy killing spree. Enemy has been slain.
The United States and its NATO
An ally has been slain.
with satellite images, they're intercepting Russian communications and helping
You can't run from my arrow.
from Russian cyber attacks. But leaks and statements from within the US intelligence
May the moon forever shine upon us. The way of the arrow. Swift, silent, and stealth. I can handle that. Been slain. Eclipse. Shut down. Double kill.
in Washington, D.C. DW, so what sort of role is Western intelligence playing in this war?
Right now is very crucial. In fact, as we're speaking right now, there is a Boeing E-3.
Enemy has been slain. Ally has been slain. Ally has been slain.
Romania and NATO aircraft from a German airbase. Why?
Enemy double kill. Our base is under attack.
Ukrainian troops.
Defeat.
About the Moskva cruiser. Without that, the Ukrainians would be in a much harder fight.
Okay, so clearly this is important. The Russian military taking aim at some of these reconnaissance flights and perhaps bringing them down. Is there a danger that the West might become dragged into this in some way?
I don't think so, as long as they're out of Ukraine itself. So they're flying in NATO countries, in Slovakia, in Poland, in India, going on from afar. The Russians aren't NATO because they know they're not capable of executing that as it is fighting Ukraine by itself. So as long as NATO stays out of Ukraine, I think they're fairly safe.
And we hear from intelligence chiefs that intelligence is being passed on at an unprecedented rate and scale. And why is that?
Well, clearly, the United States and our NATO and European allies want Russia to be defeated in Ukraine. They want Ukraine to preserve its sovereignty, preserve as much territory as it can. And they know that without the intelligence help, certainly without the assistance that's been provided, Ukraine stands very little chance of doing so. So the floodgates have opened, and more and more.
Reconnaissance flights stay in NATO territory. They seem safe. Are there dangers, though, to providing this sort of intelligence?
There's always a risk that the Russians will decide to escalate, but we're now in the third month of the war, and the Russians are totally aware that this is going on. They're watching these aircraft as anyone can just by going online. So they know that this information is being provided, but they haven't taken the steps.
Where is my target?
They have not taken any actions to try to take kinetic actions against any NATO party, and I think it's going to stay that way.
Okay, thanks for joining us, Dmitry Alperovich from the Silverado Policy Accelerator.
Thank you.
The European Union is moving to confiscate and sell rather than simply freeze the assets of Russian oligarchs. The EU says that Russian assets worth 10 billion euros have already been frozen. They say the money gained by confiscating the assets could be used to help rebuild Ukraine. But some members of the European Union, including Germany, are skeptical.
The villa of Russian oligarch Alisher Usmanov being
The United States and its NATO allies have stated publicly that they are providing Ukraine with satellite images, they're intercepting Russian communications, and helping to defend the country from Russian cyber attacks. But leaks and statements from within the US Intelligence Community are now claiming even closer involvement, like with the sinking of the Russian missile cruiser Moskva. The ship was struck by Ukrainian missiles, but there are reports the US provided information about its location. And this month, the New York Times reported that the US had provided intelligence that helped Ukraine...
Welcome to Mobile Legends! 5 seconds till the enemy reaches the battlefield. Smash them! All troops deployed!
So what sort of role is Western intelligence playing in this war?
Well, this assistance right now is very crucial. In fact, as we're speaking right now, there is a Boeing...
He served the light while working in the dark. One life is just enough.
So being able to provide targeting information to the position of Russian troops, as has been reported about the...
Give me names and I will give you blood.
Ukrainians would be in a much, much harder fight.
Okay.
What's the truth?
Guppy Fish. Oh, cool. I like your name. Thanks for the follow. Welcome, welcome.
The West might become...
I don't think so, as long as they stay out of Ukraine itself. So
A truly wise man will not tell you the truth.
In Romania, watching what's going on from afar, the Russians aren't going to take the step to escalate it with NATO, the fight with NATO.
It wasn't me who chose King of Light. King chose
Jam
me.
Jungler is taking my XP. I can't keep up with chat while I'm in game.
Become an assassin.
Well, clearly the United States and
you got timed out from your raid message. Oh, thanks for the raid. Someone just raided. Thanks for the raid. I really do appreciate it.
What's the truth?
I'm good. I'm very good. I'm very good since you're here. I love your in-game handle though.
Truly wise man will not.
If I had a choice, I'd change my handle to Goldfish. Are we all Mobile Legend players? I need to defend the turtle, right?
Wasn't me who chose King of Light.
Yep. Got him. Got him.
One life is just enough.
By going online, so they know that this information is being but
I gotta go help them, right?
An ally has slain the turtle! You have slain
Got
an
him.
enemy! Initiate retreat!
Fate forced me to become an assassin.
Yeah, come. Yeah, come. I'm not sure what you want to achieve with that, but okay, just keep coming. It's alright.
An enemy has been slain!
Could be used to help rebuild Ukraine. But some members of the European Union, including Germany, are skeptical.
Is it 5 a.m. now? Yes, it is 5 a.m. now. It's 5 a.m. in Singapore. I have insomnia, so I can't really sleep. Okay, I can't go in.
Joe's king of
I'll go back and get mana. I can't go into this. You're trying to hit MG today, but you didn't manage to do it. You still got 3 more days,
What's
yeah?
the truth?
Where are you? Are you like a Mythic 1? I got 1 account to Mythic this season and I gave up. I don't have a team. So I always play solo. What do you guys, what do you play? Do you play in a group or something?
Initiate retreat.
But some say this won't hurt.
Give me names, and I will give you blood.
Launch attack.
I have the tower, right? I'm taking the tower, right? Nope, not taking the tower. Almost. Almost got the tower.
A truly wise man will not tell you.
I'm not defending. I'm going to go get a kill. I think I can get a kill at the top.
But that's easier said.
Fate forced me to become an assassin. Nothing is true.
No backup. No backup. Yes, Mythic 1. Yeah, you shouldn't be too bad. You should be able to get to MG. You got 4 days, man. No problem. You used the solo last season to realize now how impossible. Yeah, you.
Give me names,
MG, you
and
do
I
need a
will give
team.
you blood.
You need at least a duo. At least a duo. Trio will be better. 5Q. You really got to get organized, I guess. Yeah. All right.
What's the truth?
Good night. Thanks for dropping by, Guppy.
And here is a quick roundup
And thanks for the raid.
of the stories related to this war. Vladimir Putin visited
One life is just enough. It wasn't me who chose King of Light. King chose me.
Representatives from Sweden and Finland have held high-level talks with Turkey. They want to convince
A truly wise man will not tell you.
Your team destroyed a turret.
Fate forced me to become an assassin.
An ally has slain the turtle. An ally has been slain.
We served the light while working in the dark.
Ally has been slain. Nothing is true. You have slain an enemy. Double kill.
Not again.
Fate forced me to become an assassin.
Your team destroyed a turret.
We served the light while working in the dark.
Yes, Terry? What's up, Terry? Terry.
What's the truth? Give me names and I will give you blood.
Our turret has been destroyed.
See if I can get
Your
a kill
team
here.
destroyed a turret.
Truly wise man will not tell you the truth. It wasn't me who chose King of Light, but the king
There's a whole
chose
lot of
me.
action going on there.
Killing spree. Launch attack. Enemy has been slain.
One life is just enough. We served the light while working in the dark.
Your team destroyed a turret.
Really, no one's going to defend that.
It wasn't me who chose King of Light, but the king chose me. Give me names, and I will give you blood. Nothing is true.
Killing spree! An ally has been slain. Killing spree! Mega kill! Double kill!
A truly wise man will not tell you the truth.
Your team destroyed a turret! Shut down! Mega kill!
Nothing double kill. Fate forced me to become an assassin. May death bring me.
An ally has slain Lord!
Hey, Terry. How's Terry?
Space is.
What's the
Is it
truth?
so deadly that we're effectively imprisoned in our solar system forever? Many have claimed that this is the case, but if you
One life. Nothing is true. Nothing is true.
ever since
Mega kill!
this famous question, where
Shut down!
everything, we've pondered the
An enemy
meaning
has
of
been
the
slain!
paradox. In a game that has billions of years, why don't we see any evidence of
Your
those
team
that
destroyed a turret! Has been slain! Shut down!
answers to this, varying from the uplifting, like the idea that we are evolutionary challenges, to
What's the
horrific,
truth?
like the prospect that every civilization
Give me names, and I will give you blood.
the most boring explanation possible. We've avoided
Truly wise man will not tell you the truth.
the real paradox. It's the idea we don't see
An enemy has been slain!
just way too hard.
An ally has been slain!
Civilization, like our own, may rise and fall. Some may reach heights of sophistication and advancement far exceeding them.
We served the light while
Request backup!
The same for living creatures between the stars is so difficult that it's just not worth it. So today, we're going to explore the question.
fate forced me to become an assassin.
Rest of the species lifespan huddled in our own cells. That makes it difficult.
It wasn't me who chose King of Light, but the king chose me.
Solvable, and that's the absurdly large distances involved. The nearest star,
One life, just nothing is true.
over 7,000 years to reach Proxima, if it were even going.
Initiate retreat!
For humans to travel to the stars, travel to at least be the order of a human lifetime, which means traveling at relative speed. This is actually a solvable problem. The Starshot program proposes to send solar sails, which would be accelerated to 20% light.
It wasn't me who chose King of Light, but the king chose me.
Little more than computer chips.
An enemy has been slain!
Means many
Double kill!
more mass for life
An ally has been slain!
proposed advanced form of propulsion that could in principle accelerate
Nothing is
Ally has been slain! You have slain an enemy!
We served the light while working in the dark.
Ally has slain Lord. Request backup.
Is the official acronym.
Give me names and I will give you blood.
Yes, Terry. I'll feed you in a bit, okay?
It's filled with diffuse gas and dust grains.
Fate forced me to become an assassin.
Relativistic speed, every molecule becomes a tiny bullet. And that's to say nothing of cosmic rays, particles moving fast enough to kill us all on their own. This is the #1...
Truly wise man will not tell you.
Your team destroyed a turret. Enemy has been slain.
Mundane question. Can a ship large enough to...
An ally has been slain.
Tiny particles, without adding so much extra mass that accelerating such a ship becomes a practical impossibility.
Nothing has been slain.
In the least interesting way possible. Is the answer to the question, where is everybody?
Your team destroyed a turret.
To figure this out, let's design the most plausible, crude interstellar mission we can imagine. We're going to send a starship to the Proxima Centauri system with the aim of getting them there.
One life is just enough.
Hopefully, we'll be using a propulsion system that can accelerate us to 10% the speed of light.
What's the truth?
Get before we're obliterated by tiny space junk. Well,
Fate forced me to become an assassin.
Delivers a few 100 million joules of kinetic energy, which vaporizes our ship instantly. So, do we not even make it out of our solar system? Well, maybe not.
What's the truth?
Micrometeorites are somewhat common within the solar system, left over from the formation of our planetary system. This impact probability is way too high to be acceptable.
Enemy has been slain.
So maybe we punch straight up out of the solar system to avoid the much higher density of
One life is just
maybe
enough.
We even blast ahead with lasers or something from the Earth to clear the way.
Well,
Bring me.
Let's go over what the interstellar that gas is around 90% hydrogen, and most of the rest is helium.
Initiate retreat.
The average is around 1 atom per cubic centimeter. Were probably created by a past supernova.
Launch attack!
Around these parts, there's on average 1 atom per centimeter. Dust consists of silicates and carbonates.
Truly wise man will not tell you the truth.
This stuff comes from heavy elements that are fused in the cores of massive stars and ejected in
Initiate retreat!
Stars.
It wasn't me.
Nothing is true. Nothing has been destroyed. The enemy has slain Lord.
Brains larger than this are
Our turret is under attack.
The planetary system. So rare that we get to pretty much ignore the possibility.
Give me names, and I will give you blood.
An ally has initiate retreat.
100-meter cube.
Nothing is true.
Our turret is under attack. Slain. Our turret has been destroyed.
Bring me.
there we go.
Under attack.
As they enter the upper layers where the
Our request backup.
several tens impact with every air molecule. And so
Our inhibitor turret is under attack. Our turret has been destroyed. Our turret is under attack. Our turret has been destroyed.
by a factor of around 10 to the power of 16. But we're also traveling 10,000 times faster. entering low Earth orbit satellite. So how quickly do we burn up at 0.2 C?
What's the
kinetic energy
truth?
deposited by each particle is mass times velocity squared. Factoring in the relative density.
Fate forced me to become an assassin. Shut down!
Compared to orbital reentry. So it sounds like
You served the light while working in the dark.
at these speeds, every single impacting atom or molecule can cause damage. In the 2016 paper,
It wasn't me who chose King of Light, but the king chose me.
individual particles. They figure that the light hydrogen and helium don't do lasting damage because of heat, but each impact by heavier elements.
Give me names and I will give you blood.
The relatively common oxygen and the extra massive iron adding up to most of the damage. Traveling to Alpha Cen at 0.2 C.
Truly, nothing is true. Nothing is true. You have been slain.
Impact craters down to around a millimeter.
Ally has been slain. Ally has been slain.
And only on the front side of the ship, a windshield, perhaps. So we can minimize the additional weight.
Our inhibitor turret is under attack. Our turret has been destroyed.
Crude missions.
Our base is under attack.
Lifetimes, our entire payload. Okay, so far,
Defeat.
sounding plausible, at least in terms of the ship surviving the journey. Moderate shielding is sufficient for nearby stars, and the ability to repair shielding might get us to distant parts of the galaxy. There are more advanced options for the latter, for example, deflection of grains by magnetic fields or a shielding mass moving in front of the ship. But to begin an interstellar adventure, we don't need anything. There is a more subtle hazard, one that could result in our starship reaching its destination perfectly intact, but carrying a dead crew. That hazard is radiation. While the ship's hull will stop heavier elements in less than a millimeter, the hydrogen atoms can penetrate an order of magnitude deeper. Such atoms will be stripped of their electrons to become high-energy protons. In other words, they become radiation. In a 2006 paper, Oleg Semyonov calculated that the crew of an inadequately shielded ship at any relativistic speed would be subject to levels of radiation comparable to the core of a nuclear reactor. Needless to say, this is instantly lethal for any living organism. A titanium windshield a centimetre or two thick should be enough protection against this radiation at 20% C, as would a shield of water a metre thick, and that's perhaps the best option because you're carrying that water anyway. You also need an inner layer of lead or similar to block the secondary radiation. If you want to travel at speeds closer to that of light, you need up to several meters of titanium or tens of meters of water. At any relativistic speed, spacewalks outside the ship are out of the question. But none of this helps against the other type of radiation, cosmic rays. Interstellar space is flooded with high-energy particles, from simple protons to massive iron nuclei. These things are accelerated in the monstrous magnetic fields of black holes and supernovae and of the galaxy itself. That radiation dose from cosmic rays is lower than that of interstellar gas, and it's not instantly lethal, but will significantly increase cancer risks over our 4-year journey. However, it's harder to protect against cosmic rays because they hit the ship from all directions. Now, if you manage to accelerate to 80 or 90% light speed, then most of the cosmic rays will hit you from in front, and then your windshield will protect you. But at more plausible speeds, the ship will need shielding on all surfaces. A metre-thick shell of water around the entire ship would do the trick, but would add a prohibitive mass, too much to accelerate to relativistic speeds, at least for our early iterations of starship propulsion technology. Most likely, the first generations of interstellar travelers will have to accept the health risks and hope that the destination is worth it. For interstellar trips further than a few light years, shielding against the interstellar medium, micrometeoroids and cosmic rays will have to get more serious. But it turns out there's nothing in principle stopping us from slowly limping from one planetary system to the next. Interstellar travel is very difficult, but from what we currently know about the interstellar medium, it's not impossible, and it's certainly not a clear explanation of the Fermi paradox. The universe may be trying to kill us, but it's not trying quite hard enough, not hard enough to stop us from stretching our species' reach to distant tracts of interstellar spacetime. Making spacetime would not be possible without the generous support of everyone who's joined us on Patreon. Now, besides the good feels that come from helping make it.
Hey, what's up everyone? Today we're talking about critical race theory is one of those things that a lot of people have opinions about, but most people don't have understanding.
Where is my target?
And I think the reason for that is because explanations of critical race theory tend to be kind of glossy, where people just list the major beliefs and claims of critical race theorists without going into where they came from. But at the same time, critical race theory is impending in the lives of a lot of people, either in the workplace or in the education system. And I think people deserve sort of a gloves-off, very straightforward explanation of it that doesn't soften anything for politically correct reasons. So I'm going to try to provide it, while at the same time prioritizing trying to be fair and accurate, and not exaggerating anything for political reasons. So to do that, I'm going to be using these 5 books, which are 5 of their most influential pieces of writing. And this is also going to be one of those sensitive subjects where I don't want to just say things and hope that you believe me. So if I say anything, even remotely controversial, I'll show on screen exactly where I'm getting it from. And that's it. That's the plan. And to that point, let's get right into it and look at the main thing that makes critical race theorists distinct. In their own words, what makes critical race theorists unusual compared to other academics on race and equality is their
Welcome to Mobile Legends!
Civil rights discourse.
5 seconds till the enemy reaches the battlefield. Smash them! Launch attack! All troops deployed!
It wasn't me who chose King of Light, but the king chose me.
Request backup!
And they want to take us down a new track in America.
One life is just enough.
So, trust me, we'll get into the new track that they want to take us down.
Fate forced me to become an assassin.
Color blindness, which is the attempt to take race out of your
Truly wise man will not tell you.
First blood!
Everyone, regardless of their race. Or maybe if you want to be colorblind in your day-to-day.
An ally has been slain.
And critical race theorists basically say that colorblindness.
What's the truth?
But they think that.
To serve the light while working in the dark.
An enemy has been slain. You have been slain.
May death bring peace.
Racial integrationism is basically having a melting pot vision for America, where people with different racial backgrounds come together and
Give me names, and I will give you blood.
Which also implies that people try to downplay their racial
Initiate retreat!
in favor of trying to see the common humanity in each other.
Fate forced me to become an assassin.
So that they say they're smart about that, and instead serve the traditions and values of minorities by resisting
Serve the light while working in the dark.
integration and
An ally has been slain.
the significance of race in our minds is not working out for minorities.
A truly wise man will not tell you the
Request backup. The enemy has slain the turtle.
Casual
truth. What's the truth?
or maybe radical idea that
It wasn't me who chose King of Light. The king chose me.
thinkers like Malcolm X and Stokely, who both argued against integration. Race-conscious collectives that can powerfully stand in society without integrating. Critical race theorists' own words.
One life is just enough.
Our turret has been
Nothing is true.
Negotiated in American consciousness, and to recover and revitalize the radical tradition of race consciousness among African Americans and other people of color. A tradition that was when integration, assimilation, and real colored white.
Give me names, and I will give you blood.
Critical race theorists want to revitalize race consciousness.
Our turret has been destroyed.
Bring me.
So, to push this a step further, the analytical method to look at America is called deconstruction.
Enemy has been slain.
Closely, in order to understand kind of hidden ways that things relate to each other.
Our turret is under attack.
Deconstruction and race consciousness to understand.
A truly wise man will not tell you the
An
truth.
ally has been slain.
Nothing is true. Nothing is true.
You have slain an enemy. Request backup. An enemy has been slain.
So deconstruction using race consciousness is one.
Fate forced me to become an assassin.
Lay the land. It tells them what the racial dynamics are in America and where racism.
Our turret is under attack.
But they also
It wasn't me who chose King of Light.
Our
The
turret
king
has been
chose
destroyed.
me.
Reconstruct a race-conscious reality through theory. So here's them putting it another way. They attempt to construct a social reality and direct operation with it. So they're saying, given what we know,
Enemy rampage.
the better alternative. Finally,
Serve the light while working in the dark. Nothing is true.
deconstruction and reconstruction.
The enemy has slain the turtle.
We can learn how to
What's the
transform America
truth?
to make it free of racial oppression. And if that's done sinking in, is part of a broader goal of possibly ending all forms of oppression. So critical race want to use that process.
Give me names, and I will give you blood.
Enemy has been slain.
I think it'll help
Truly wise man does not
Yeah, I'm not going to help you anymore.
and they looked at the traditional ways that they felt academics
Quest backup.
and they boiled it down to a few values that academics are supposed to have.
What's the truth?
Balance.
Initiate retreat.
Aren't shared American values, or even shared worldwide academic values, but instead values specifically from
To serve the light while working in
Initiate
the dark.
retreat. Request backup. Our inhibitor turret is under attack.
neutral and balanced. Regardless of your skin color, your academic voice is
Our turret is under attack. Our turret has been destroyed.
And in this case, effectively lost your racial
Our
identity.
inhibitor turret is under attack.
So, because they think it presumes the superiority, in this case of white academic.
An ally has been slain.
Race-conscious alternative that would be designed to be distinctively not white. And that's a voice that they grounded in the concept of authenticity. Authenticity here means resistance.
It wasn't me who chose King of Light, but the king chose me.
Nothing under attack. Our turret is under attack. An enemy has been slain.
As specifically being subjective and political. So critical race theorists as academics.
The enemy has slain the turtle.
One life is just enough.
Inauthentically white.
Legendary! Our inhibitor turret is under
Nothing
attack.
is true. Nothing is true.
By an earlier group of
Enemy double kill.
who developed something called critical
Our
theory.
inhibitor turret is under attack. Triple kill.
Political goals in mind. So they subjectively slant their academic findings to accommodate their political goals. And this is also for him part of a broader goal of ending all forms of oppression.
Our inhibitor turret is under attack.
The reconstruction process in action. They deconstructed traditional academia and determined
Give me names, and I will give you blood.
like Max Horkheimer, instead they determined authentically white.
Fate forced me to become an assassin.
And deconstruct your workplace with race consciousness to determine racial dynamics happening, and if there's any
One life is just enough.
they do determine that there's racism happening, they can reconstruct their own alternative for your workplace that again takes race consciousness into account and is designed to take racism.
What's the truth?
Killing spree. Enemy legendary. An ally has been slain. Our inhibitor turret is under attack.
One is
Who serves the light while working?
Our turret has been destroyed.
throughout the
Our base is under attack.
It wasn't me who chose King of Light, but the king chose me.
where an author talks about
An enemy has been slain. Legendary.
and is peppered
Enemy double kill. Enemy triple kill. Our base is under attack. Slain. Enemy maniac.
which means
Double kill.
differences between racial groups. So it could be infant mortality rates, life expectancy rates, incarceration rates.
Fate forced me to become an assassin. Nothing is true. Nothing is
Our
true.
inhibitor turret is under attack.
They don't objectively
Legendary.
why these racial disparities might be happening. And instead they default to claiming that they're all
A truly wise man will not tell you the truth.
which they claim is enough
The enemy has slain Lord.
to say that since these
Give me names, and I will give you blood.
these disparities
What's the truth?
those are the terms that he set up in order to be ended. There's a third
Enemy legendary.
call it evidence
Enemy double. Our inhibitor turret is under attack. Been destroyed.
historical context. Again, subjective
Our base is under attack.
Fate forced me to become an assassin.
Enemy legendary. Our base is under attack.
in this case saying because of a history of oppression
One life
Enemy
is just
double
enough.
kill.
Nothing is
Our
true.
base is under attack.
Nothing
inferiority
Defeat.
but they're much more interested in racism in terms of how it relates to power structures. So they look at the power structures of society and say if those structures, meaning they're geared to benefit people of one race while being also geared to subordinate people of another race, then those power structures are racist, and anyone who's implicit with those power structures is also racist. So it has to do with your identity and how it relates to power structures. If those power structures benefit you and you're not actively against them, then you're racist. But on the other hand, if those power structures are deemed to be against you, then you're not capable of being racist because you don't have the power of these power structures behind you, and you're implicitly being oppressed pretty much all the time. Using that concept of racism and using the analytical toolkit that I've laid out, critical race theorists examined America and concluded that racism is a pillar that holds up American society to the extent that America is a regime of white supremacy. That includes most American institutions and most aspects of American life, like our laws, our education system, our culture, our economic system, and our politics, which is all generally shortened by critical race theorists down to being called the status quo. So critical race theorists believe that the status quo of America is the status quo of white supremacy. But it's not an explicit white supremacy. They believe it kind of hangs in the minds of white Americans in a subconscious kind of Freudian way, where white Americans are kind of conditioned into a white supremacist mindset without necessarily being consciously aware of it. It's worth mentioning that the word white here isn't necessarily used in the way that we normally think of it, because it doesn't necessarily correlate with your skin color. So they think that since the norms of America are fundamentally white, anyone whose values are reflected in those norms and anyone who benefits from them and becomes successful within the regime of these norms may effectively also be white. Because again, this is an argument that's grounded in integration. And if anyone integrates into the status quo, they might be called by critical race theorists white, regardless of their skin color. The point is that under these conditions, white Americans can't just share power with a more racially diverse set of people to break out from being labeled a white supremacy, because the concept of white supremacy is built into the norms and the values of society itself. So if more people from different backgrounds integrate into those norms, then it'll still be a white supremacy, just with a more superficially diverse set of skin tones. Critical race theorists think that the only way that we can break out of this cycle is to change the values of society itself. So they think we need to perform sort of an exorcism on the status quo that expels the racism from the status quo. And then they think we need to make a new status quo free of racism, which is effectively making a new society. So then you might say, okay, well, what does this new society look like? And critical race theorists basically say that they're still figuring it out. They do sometimes hint
In this course, you will learn how to automate a bunch of different things in Python. You will learn about web scraping, automating downloads, extracting from PDFs, automated image processing, building an automated news summarizer, and more. The instructor for this course is Abdul, also known as One Little Coder. He has been creating courses for a while and is a great teacher.
Welcome to this section 1 of hands-on build tools to automate stuff in Python. In this section, we'll build a Hacker News headlines emailer. We'll begin with the understanding of the basics of web scraping. Then we'll set up our system environment by installing the required Python packages. Then we'll move on to understand the project architecture, and then we'll start scraping project with Hacker News front page. Finish the tool building so that the tool can send
how to make some bots. We'll be covering how to make a simple piano tiles bot, how to make an aim booster bot that can track an object. Okay, so let's get started. Step 1. Download Python and remember to check the Add to Path checkbox when installing. Step 2. Open images and run the following commands. You can find them in the video description. These are all Step 3. Now that we have completed this setup, create a new folder and create a text file named bot.py. As long as it ends with a .py extension. Now begins the interesting part of the tutorial. Right-click your newly created Python file, edit with idle, and paste this into the code editor. You can find this in the library to download it.
Where is my target?
For this game, we have 4 rows where black squares will come down from each row. The fastest and easiest way to run this game is to check a single pixel from each row. We will check if that pixel is black, and if it is, we're gonna click it. Okay, so first we need to know the RGB value of black, which is the tile's color. For this, open the Python shell by pressing Windows, search Python, and open. Write import PyAutoGUI and then PyAutoGUI.displayMousePosition. The shell will display the pixel you're pointing at and its RGB value. Hover over any part of the screen, and you can see the color for black is 0 red, 0 green, and 0 blue. Go back to the shell and press Ctrl-C to stop it from running. We now want to figure out the X, aka horizontal position for each row. Open the Python shell again and type import PyAutoGUI and then PyAutoGUI.displayMousePosition. Hover over the first, second, third, and fourth row. Go back to the shell and copy the data from each respective row. We will only be using one Y vertical position, so I'll put mine to around 400, which is around the middle of the game. For me, the first tile's pixel is x597, second x676, and so on. It will be different for you, but don't worry. Open the bot.py file. There are 2 ways to perform a click. The first is by using PyAutoGUI click function, which looks like this. The downside for this is that it's pretty slow, so instead we will use a Win32 API, which runs much faster. To do this, we start the script by creating a click function like
Welcome to Mobile Legends!
API library to move the mouse to X position with set cursor pause.
5 seconds till the enemy reaches the battlefield. Smash them!
We want the 0.01 second.
All troops deployed!
It wasn't me who chose King of Light, but the king chose me.
False. This line checks if the key Q is pressed down. It returns true if it's pressed down and false if it's not.
He served the light while working in the dark.
Let's check the RGB value of the first pixel. To do this, we use the if PyAutoGUI.pixel and then your pixels.
What's the truth?
0 == 0. This will return the RGB value of the pixel located in X597 and Y400. The 0 checks for the R value, whereas if you were to switch the 0 for a 1, it would check for the G value.
First blood! You have slain an enemy!
Now that the script can tell when the pixel is black, we want to click it immediately when it does. For this, we call the click function we created
an ally has been slain,
which is the same position we see.
Give me names, and I will give you blood.
And there you go. Press 1, switch back to Penthouse and press start.
One life is just enough.
So as you can see, yay, it works.
Fate forced me to become an assassin.
An enemy has been slain. Ally has been slain.
In this game,
double kill.
Circles that appear randomly in this area of the screen. There are 2 approaches to solving this game. The first is to take a picture of the circle and locating it on the screen. Instead, we will take a screenshot of the game area and check every 1 out of 5 pixels to see if that pixel is the color of the center of the target. Before doing this, however, I'll demonstrate how to do image recognition. Okay, so through my amazing artistic talent, I have made what appears to be a stickman.
Truly wise man. It wasn't me who chose King of Light, but the king chose me.
As in the piano tiles bot. Go back to the stickman you drew, in my case this one. On Windows, press Shift Windows.
Truly wise man will not tell you the truth.
Drag over the stickman.
Nothing is true.
Trim it as much as possible by selecting the area that contains adding excess like so. Once you have cut the excess, press File, save as, and
An ally has been slain.
in the same folder as the script, saving it in the same location as the
Enemy has been slain.
You write the script that is actually going to find the image. If PyAutoGUI.locate on screen stickman.png is not equal none, this line uses PyAutoGUI to locate the stickman on the screen. If it doesn't find anything, the output of this line will be none. So if it's not none, it means it found it. So if you write the following,
Give me
if it
names
finds
and
the
I
image
will
on
give
the
you
screen, it will
blood.
print out I can see it, and then wait for 0.5 seconds. The delay is
Fate force.
The enemy has been slain.
right, I am unable to
Nothing is true. What's the truth?
You have slain an enemy.
One of the questions you might have is, what if the background of the image I am trying to detect changes? For example, if I were to put...
We served the light
Your
while
team
working.
destroyed a turret.
This is not an identical match. To fix this, we simply add the confidence parameter in the locate on screen like this. Let me explain. When the bot looks at the screen, it
Shut down.
pixel and gives
Killing
the
spree.
probability of finding a match to the image you're asking it to fit. By default, PyAutoGUI only gives an output when it's 100%
Double kill.
sure of having a match, but by using confidence 0.8, we tell it that if it's 80% sure or more to have found
One life is just enough.
Killing spree.
The first and most obvious way is by checking a smaller region of the screen.
What's the truth?
Finding the correct region is
An ally has been slain.
Open the script and write the following code. It's in the description as well. But remember to change this path to your folder's path you copied a second ago. This script saves the image on the region 0, 0, 100, 100 as savedimage.png.
Truly, nothing is true.
Mega kill.
Y position is the screenshot. The third is the width, and the fourth is the height. So let's say I do region 100,
Fate
200,
forced me
500,
to become an
500.
assassin.
The script will take a screenshot starting 100 pixels.
Our turret has been destroyed. Enemy has been slain. The ally has slain the turtle.
So as you can see, running the script for the stick in my case, 100,
One life
175,
is just enough.
250, and 600. Keep in mind that it doesn't have to be too close to the object. It's fine to check
Your
the area
team
around the
destroyed a
stick
turret.
Open the stickman and straight
Wasn't me who chose King of Light. The king. Nothing is true.
Initiate retreat. Shut down. Enemy double kill.
Edit the file with idle like we did before and paste in the same libraries as in the piano tiles bot. Go back to the stickman you drew, in my case this one. On Windows, press Shift Windows S. This will open up a screenshot tool that allows you to select a part of the screen to screenshot. Drag over the stickman to save
Give
the
me
screenshot.
names and
Open
I
the
will give you
file and
blood.
Paste the stickman. You now want to trim it as small as possible by selecting the area that contains the stickman and cutting excess like so. Once you
We
have cut
served
the
the
excess,
light
press
while
File,
working in
Save
the
As, and
dark.
save it as stickman.png in the same folder as the script. Saving it in the same location as the script is important. Open
What's the truth? Nothing is true. Fate forced me to become an assassin.
This line uses PyAutoGUI to locate the stickman on the screen. If it doesn't find anything, the output of this line is none. So if it's not none, it means it found it. So if you write the following script,
Enemy has been slain.
the delay so that the
Give me names and I will
if it
give you
doesn't find
blood.
the image, it writes I
Double kill.
Run the script by pressing run.
Triple kill.
The script can see the image. But if you move the window
Truly
over the
wise
stickman,
man will not turn.
Now, one of the questions you might have is, what if the background of the image I am trying to detect changes? For example,
It wasn't me who chose. Nothing is true.
You destroyed a turret.
Nothing is true.
Shut down.
we simply add the confidence parameter and the locate on screen like this.
We served the light while working in the dark.
It checks every pixel.
Your
and gives
team
a
destroyed
percentage
a
chance
turret.
probability of finding a match to the image you're asking it to search for. By default, PyRGY only gives an output when it's
One life is just enough.
An ally has been slain.
You can of course adjust the value to whatever you need. But wait, there's more. Now you might
Nothing is true. Your team destroyed mega kill. Nothing is true.
So instead of searching for the image on the entire screen,
Double
you
kill.
have to tell it where to look. Finding the correct region is a bit of a process, but I'll explain as best as I can. Create a new Python script in the folder. Copy the path to the folder.
Give me names and I will give you blood.
Open the script and write the correct code. It's easy. But you should change this path to your folder and you copy it indigo. This script saves the image in the region.
It wasn't me who chose King of Light, but the king chose me.
An ally has slain Lord.
Fate, nothing is killing
spree. Monster kill. Double kill.
The values manually, run the
Shut down.
output and find the region of the state.
Enemy double kill.
You see, running the script saves in
One life is just enough.
the region for the segment in my case is 150, 125, 350, and 60. Keep in mind it doesn't have to be too close to the object. It's fine to check the area around the stickman as
We
well.
served the
Open
light
stickman
while
script
working in
again
the
and write
dark.
region and then grayscale up the script. Grayscale parameter is the not
What's the truth?
Ally has been slain.
On the newly modified script, as you can see, it can detect the stickman even though parts of it are hidden and
Truly wise man, not intelligent.
create a new Python file folder as all the other files we made. Paste in the libraries last
Shut down. Enemy killing spree.
Remember to add a time
Spring.
to give you 2 seconds to switch over to register when you start the script. So as I explained a bit earlier, we will be taking a screenshot of this region of the screen where the circles appear and then check every 1 out of 5 pixels to see if the color of the pixel matches the color.
Hey, Kagura. How are you going?
Do this, open the script you created during the Stickman demo that takes a screenshot.
Enemy has been slain.
And choose the region value.
Double kill.
Which is the region where the circles are going to be.
Triple kill.
Wow.
Now that you know the game region, let's start the script with the while keyboard is pressed equal false so that we can stop the bot. from
Fate
using
forced me to become an assassin.
Write the following line. This line uses PyAutoGUI screenshot function to take a screenshot of the screen and store it in a picture. In our case,
It wasn't
takes
me
screenshot
who
of the
chose
region
King of
specific,
Light.
which for
Your
you is
team
the king
destroyed a
chose me.
turret.
50, 600, 400. Your region will be different.
Your team destroyed a turret.
Nothing is true.
Double kill. Initiate retreat. Enemy has been
For
slain.
this, I took a screenshot of the game.
Don't have to tell me twice, man. I'm out of here.
Python shell, wrote import Python.
How's my game so far? I keep losing because I get crappy teammates.
I then hover over
This is the
the
first
center
game
of
where
the
I
target
don't
and the
think we're
console
gonna lose, but
the
don't
RGB
quote me
value
on
of the
that.
pixel I am
Shit always
The
happens.
center of the target has an RGB value of
What's the truth? We served the light while working in the dark.
Let's take this example. For x in range
One
0 to
life
10,
is
1
just
to 10,
enough.
This will output every single number starting from 0 up to 9. We'll set x to 0. Take out x to 0.
Nothing is true.
Slain an enemy.
Nothing is true.
Maximum value is going to
Double kill.
If we were to run 4x, 1.
Give me
Double kill.
and I will give you blood.
If we were to increase the third value for x in range 0, 15, 2, print x, we would set an increment of 2 instead of 1. So the output would be 0, 2, 4, 6.
An ally has slain
As
Lord!
you might have already guessed, we will be using increments of 5 for our image. So for example, let's say that our image has a width of 500 pixels.
Wasn't me who chose King of Light. The king chose me.
0, 605 RGB equals pixel XY.
Give me names, and I will give you blood.
Shut down! An enemy has been slain!
Thanks to the get pixel function.
Your team destroyed a turret! Our turret has been destroyed!
Then X0, Y5.
Our turret is under attack!
Then X0, Y50.
An enemy has been slain! Ally has been slain!
Y595, since we have increments of 5, and Y has to be smaller than 600. And store the red value in R.
Face nothing! Killing spree! Double kill!
600 and the height of 400. Everything with
Shut down!
Victory!
Victory!
The center of the target's color. You can code this in two different ways. In my case, the center of the color of the target is always going to be the same, so we can add a if b, which is the blue value equal 195. This checks if the blue value of the pixel y is equal to the value 195, which is the blue value of the center of our target. To check for the red and green values, change it to either R for red and G for green, but in this case, blue is more than enough. But if you wanted to create a bot similar to this one, where the center is not always going to be the same color, then you can use range. If you were to use range, the loop would look like this. If B in range 180 to 110. This will check if the blue value stored in B is between 180 and 210. In my case, checking for a range is unnecessary, so I will just stick for if B equal 195. Okay, so now that the script can tell when the color of the pixel is the color we want it to be, we want to click. For this, simply call the click x plus 660, y plus 300.
0, 11, 4, man. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Why I have these values, remember that the click function will click a pixel based on your screen position. 0, 0 will click at the top left of the screen. But in our case, we want to perform a click relative to the screenshot.
Alright, 5-minute queue time again.
The first pixel, aka pixel 00 of our screenshot, starts at 660 pixels to the right and 350 pixels down. We want the click function to also be 660 pixels right and 350 pixels down. Since the script runs a bit too fast, it might click the circles a bit too fast, so we add a time.sleep after the click to prevent misclicks. I'll put mine to 0.05. We then end the script with a break to stop the script from clicking the same place again. Save the script, run the script, tab over to Aim Booster and press Challenge. And voila, there you have it, a working Aim Booster bot. Remember that you have to hold Q to stop the bot. If you experience accuracy issues, just slightly tweak the delay after the click so the bot doesn't have the time to click twice. So before ending the video, I just wanted to ask if the fast pace of this video was okay or if it was way too hard to follow, and if you want a more detailed, in-depth video about
If you're looking for openings advice, you've come to the right place. Throughout the course of this video, we're going to cover basic, intermediate, and advanced opening concepts, and so whatever your current rating level is, you're going to get something out of it. Let's just jump right in. At the very beginning of the game, it's considered good to put one pawn or two in the center, followed by the movement of your knights and bishops, and getting your king to safety. So, in a perfect world, that looks something like this. Both knights come out. Important to move the bishop to the center of the board before moving this pawn to get this bishop out, because if you do that, you block in your bishop. So the bishop is more passive. Now you can castle your king or do this. It's not It's not extremely important just yet. Let's say black castles, now d3, and the bishop comes out. In the future, you can then make a quick queen move and connect your rooks. And what that will look like is something like this. Just get the bishop out here, and now the rooks are connected and come to the center of the board. That's a very, very quick onboarding process. One more thing I should say about this position is that long. Also, we started with a king's pawn, but if you want to play a queen's pawn opening, that's completely fine. Play knight, bishop, and the same stuff. 2 pawns in the center if possible. Okay, let's go one more. When we flip the board as well.
Where is my target?
And let's say you have the black pieces. You do the very, very same thing. The only difference when you play black, whether they play king's pawn, queen's pawn, is that you are reacting to their moves. And there's little tricks with some venom in them when you play the black pieces. For example, the scholar's mate, the 4-move checkmate. The weak square near your king has to be guarded. And so when they play knight out, attacking your pawn, and you go like this, there's this move. And so it's sometimes actually better to bring the bishop out before the knight, because there's something called the fried liver attack, which I'm not going to study too deeply in this video, but if you're a beginner player, you should definitely go explore what the fried liver attack is. It's when white plays this very aggressive move and tries to destroy your setup very quickly. So when you play black, there's a little bit more venom. I mean, there's even ridiculous stuff like queen h5, where they try to attack you and also try to set up the 4-move mate. But if you get all of the responses down, you're going to be just fine. Developing in the center, both knights, the bishop, castle, the second bishop, and so on. That's just a very, very quick run-through with the white and the black side in a couple of minutes of how you should be playing the first 5-10 moves of the game. Okay, let's start adding another layer to this. Let's flip the board back to the white side. And now, this is probably going to be more useful for the people that are going into the intermediate phase of chess understanding, not just the beginners. Chess has 2 types of openings: setup-based openings and theory-based openings. A setup-based opening is an opening that you can basically play the same way all the time. An example is the queen's pawn.
Welcome to Mobile Legends!
You go like this. You play knight f3.
5 seconds till the enemy reaches the battlefield. Smash them!
Then you put
all troops deployed.
Fate forced me to become an assassin.
Here, and then you complete this little pawn pyramid.
Initiate retreat. Request backup.
I served the light while working in the dark.
Every single game. Now this is one way. Another opening. There's a lot of clues that are set.
A truly wise man will not tell you the truth.
And then on your next turn, you play g3, bishop g2, so something like this, and you fight for the center in the
first blood.
And then this one
It wasn't me who chose King of Light. The king chose me.
Against basically anything. Those are good openings for folks that don't want to learn a whole lot of theory.
One life is just
A theory-based opening is when you need to know specific responses that are considered the best against what your opponent is playing. When you play the king's pawn, you need to know how to deal with the king's pawn response.
What's the truth?
The Sicilian, the Caro-Kann, the French, and there's many, many others. Those are the 4 main ones, but
give me names and I will give you blood.
So those you might need a book. You might need an openings course, which I do have an openings course, but there's many, many out there. Chess.com, YouTube videos, books all over the place. But that's for folks that are transitioning to advanced chess.
To serve the light while working.
With black, it's a little harder. You can play, So the
ally has been slain.
D6, knight f6, g6 to put the bishop here, and then castles. Then you develop the queenside bishop and the queenside knight, and you try to put a pawn in the center of the board in the future. The interesting thing about the King's Indian is you can play it against literally anything. It does not matter how they start. If they start with the queen's pawn...
A truly wise man will not tell you the truth.
G6, bishop d7, and castles. This might be useful for some beginners in the chat as well. In the chat.
What's the truth?
So, this setup is very easy to play. It's a kind of a one-sided install solution. It doesn't matter, they can play a setup based.
Give me names, and I will give you blood.
I get a lot of questions from viewers like, should I study different things against all of the different openings? If you're strong enough to do
It wasn't me who chose King of Light. The king chose me.
Quite significant. With black, the theory-based approach is you learn something against d4. Maybe you learn the Karo Khan or the Sicilian, but then when d4 comes around, now you need an opening here as well. Another way to play is the e6 b6 setup.
One line. Nothing is true.
But the King's Indian is perfectly good against just about anything that white can do. For the more advanced players that are watching, if you've made it this far,
ally has been slain.
Implementing into your game at around 14.
Our turret has been destroyed.
You're going to find the most success with your openings. The way you have to think about openings. Again, let's go
An ally has slain the turtle. Initiate
Fate
retreat.
forced me to become an assassin.
When you go up against opponents that
Initiate retreat. Nothing is true. You have slain an enemy. Nothing is true.
You probably spend hours and hours looking through the opening theory. But then you don't enter the main lines. Main lines meaning
what's the truth?
Instead of playing the open Sicilian, you play the Rosalino Sicilian. Or you play the closed Sicilian, Grand Prix attack.
It wasn't me who chose King of Light. The king chose
Out
me.
there for the more advanced players. So how about we do this? For the more advanced players,
Give me
and anybody,
names, and I will give you blood.
let me know your whatever rating level that you are.
Killing spree.
To your friends who are also trying to potentially learn chess. This, in my opinion, is the best way to approach the opening phase of the
Fate
game.
forced me to become an assassin.
800, 1,000, 1,200, or even a 2,000 rating. All right, thanks so much for
Our
watching.
turret has been destroyed.
Now d3,
An enemy has been slain.
and then make a quick queen move and connect your rooks. And what that
A
will
truly
look like,
wise man will not tell you the
out here.
truth.
And now the rooks are connected and come to the center of the board. That's a very, very quick onboarding process. One more
One
thing to
life
say about
is
this
just
is
enough.
that you barely have to short way. Castle long. Also, we started with a king's pawn. But if you want to
We served the light while working in the dark.
Initiate retreat. Your team destroyed a turret.
Well, we can look at this from black's perspective. And let's say you have the black. You do the very, very same thing.
Launch attack.
When you play black,
Request backup.
you want to react.
Nothing shut down.
Square near your king. It's gonna be garbage. So play knight out.
Fate forced me to become an
This,
assassin.
there's and so it's bishop before the knight. Or something like the fly
Our turret is under attack. Our turret has been destroyed.
Beginning player definitely go explore what the fried liver attack is. So when white plays this very aggressive move, tries to destroy your setup very early. So when you play black, there's a little bit more venom. I mean,
Killing spree.
if you're looking for openings advice, you've come to the right place. Throughout the course of this video, we're going
It
to
wasn't
cover
me who
basic
chose King of Light, but the king chose me.
And so whatever your current rating is, you're going to get jump right in. At the very beginning of
We
the
served the light while working in the dark. What's the truth?
Initiate retreat. An enemy has been slain. Double kill. Shut down. Our turret is under attack.
Wise man will not tell you the truth. One life is just enough.
You destroyed a turret.
Give me names, and I will give you blood.
Has been slain.
Nothing is true.
Launch attack.
Nothing is true.
Basic, intermediate, and
Your
advanced
team
openings.
destroyed a turret. An enemy has been slain.
Just jump right in.
Double kill.
It's really good to put one pawn or two in
A
the
truly wise
followed by
man
the
will not
movement
tell
of
you the
knights
truth.
and bishops.
Request backup.
So, in the world,
Request
What's the
backup.
truth?
come out. Important to move the bishop to the center of the board.
Killing spree.
If you do that, lock in your bishop. To the center.
Give me names, and
See,
I will
don't.
give you
I'll play
blood.
something a little bit more passive. Now you can castle your king or do this. Not extremely important yet.
One life is just enough.
And the bishop is out. In the future, you can then make a quick queen move and connect the rooks. And what that will look like is something like this. Just get the bishop out here. And now
Wasn't me who chose King of Light. The king chose me.
onboarding process. One more thing I should say about this position is that you don't necessarily have to
Fate
castle the king
forced
short
me
way.
to become an assassin.
Queen side. Long. Also, we started with a king's pawn. But if you
Mega kill.
that's completely fine.
Enemy has been
Knight.
slain. Double kill.
And the same stuff.
Launch
If
attack.
possible, but if not, then okay, you'll just have to go one square. When we flip the board as well, we can look at the
Monster kill.
Nothing is true.
Your team destroyed a turret.
Give me names, and I will give you blood.
Is a theory-based opening. A theory-based opening is when you need to know specific responses that are considered the best against what you're
Shut down.
response.
Godlike.
Carl Khan, the French, and there's many others. Those are the four main ones, but against the King's Pawn.
We served the light while working in the dark.
Those you might need a book. You might need an opening course. You have an opening course, but there's many out there. There's things on Chessable, chess.com.
One life is just enough.
Nothing is better. Mega kill.
Fate forced me to become an assassin.
Legendary.
Obviously, white people.
Double kill.
Literally. So the most flexible setup based opening is called the King's
What's
Indian
the
setup,
truth?
and it goes like this. Knight F6.
An ally has been slain.
Put the bishop here.
A truly wise man will not tell you the truth.
Then you develop
An ally has been slain.
and you try to put a pawn.
Legendary. Initiate retreat. You destroyed a turret. An enemy has been slain.
Knight F6, C7. This might be useful.
We
for
served
beginners.
the light while working in the dark.
An enemy has been slain.
So this setup is very easy to play. It's a kind of a
Truly
one-size-fits-all
wise man
solution.
will
It
not
doesn't matter,
tell
they
you
can
the
play a
truth.
setup based I get a lot of questions here, like, should I study
What's the
different
truth?
things against all of the different openings? If you're strong enough,
Your team destroyed a turret.
simplify your opening
An ally has been slain.
with black. The theory-based approach is you learn something against d4. before. Maybe you learn the Karo Khan or the Sicilian, but then when D4 comes around, now you need an opening here as well. Another way to play it.
Fate forced me to become an assassin.
An ally has slain Lord.
Anything that white can do.
Launch attack.
For the more advanced players that are watching, if you've made it
One
this far,
life is just
or you jumped
enough.
ahead in the video, openings are a really, really good tool to start implementing into your game at around 14, 1500.
Give me names and I
have most success with your openings. The way you have to think about openings. Again, let's flip back to the white pieces.
It wasn't me who chose King of Light. The king chose me.
And now you've got to start strategizing in an interesting way.
One life is just enough.
Maybe they have like a chessable but then you don't enter the main lines.
The enemy has been slain. Your team destroyed a turret.
Maybe instead of playing
launch attack. You destroyed a turret. Launch attack. Monster kill.
So how about we do this?
What's the truth?
Your team destroyed a turret. Launch attack.
Share your openings questions in the comments below. I'm going to try to answer as many viewer questions as possible in this video.
We served the light while working in the dark.
Whatever rating level that you are, you can share this video is the best way to
victory!
Whether you're 600, 800, 1,000, 1,200, or even a 2,000 rated player. Alright, thanks so much for watching. Hit the like button if you haven't already, and check out some of my other videos on my channel.
Okay. It's okay. It's okay. Hey, Terry. Hey, Terry. Calma. 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 Calma.
Where is my target?
Welcome to Mobile Legends! 5 seconds till the enemy reaches the battlefield. Smash them! All troops deployed!
Truly wise man will not tell you the truth. It wasn't me who chose King of Light. The king chose me. Give me names, and I will give you blood.
Launch attack!
One life is just enough. You served the light while working in the dark. Fate forced me to become an assassin.
Launch attack!
What's the truth?
First blood! You have been slain.
May death bring me peace. Fate forced me to become an assassin. Give me names, and I will give you blood. You served the light while working in the dark. What's the truth? Truly wise man will not tell you the truth.
An ally has slain the turtle!
Nothing is true.
An enemy has been slain!
One life is just enough. It wasn't me who chose King of Light. The king chose me. Give me names, and I will give you blood.
An ally has been slain.
One life is just enough.
You have slain an enemy!
Nothing is true. Fate forced me to become an assassin. The truly truly wise man will not tell you the truth. It wasn't me who chose King of Light. Nothing is
You
true.
have slain an enemy.
Nothing is true. We served the light while working in the dark. What's the truth? Truly wise man will not tell you. It wasn't me who chose King of Light. The king chose me.
An ally has been slain. The enemy has slain the turtle.
We served the light while working in the dark.
An enemy has been slain. Enemy killing. Shut down. Launch attack.
What's the truth?
Nothing west back.
Nothing is true.
Killing spree. Shut down.
May death bring me peace.
Killing spree. Ally has been slain. Enemy double kill. Enemy has been slain.
Give me names, and I will give you blood.
Mega kill. Your team destroyed a turret. You have slain an enemy. Double kill.
Fate forced me to become an assassin. Nothing is true. A truly wise man will not tell you the truth.
Our turret has been destroyed.
It wasn't me who chose King of Light.
Nothing is true. Killing spree.
True. What's the truth?
An enemy has been slain.
We served the light while working in the dark.
Our turret has been destroyed. An ally has
Nothing is true.
been shut down. An enemy has been slain.
Fate forced me to become an assassin.
Our turret has been destroyed. Our turret is under attack.
Give me names, and I will be.
Enemy has been slain. Double kill. Shut down. An enemy has been slain.
It wasn't me who chose King of Light, but the king chose me.
Initiate retreat.
Truly, what
You have slain an enemy.
We served the light while working in the dark. One life is just enough. What's the truth? Nothing is true. Nothing is true.
Enemy has been slain. Our turret is under attack.
Fate forced me to become an assassin. Nothing is true.
Your team has slain an enemy. Your team destroyed a turret.
May death bring me.
Our turret is under attack. An ally has been slain.
What's the truth?
An enemy has been slain. An ally has been slain. You have slain an enemy.
Nothing is true. Fate forced me to become an assassin.
Our turret is under attack.
It wasn't me who chose King of Light, but the king chose me. We served the light while working in the dark.
Your team destroyed a turret. An ally has been slain. An enemy has been slain. An ally has been slain.
One life is just enough. Give me names, and I will give you blood.
Enemy rampage.
What's the truth? Nothing is true. We served the light while working in the dark.
You have slain an enemy.
Give me names, and I will give you blood.
Enemy has been slain.
One life. Nothing is true.
Enemy unstoppable.
It wasn't me who chose King of Light, but the king chose me.
Killing spree. Your team destroyed a turret. turret is under attack. Our turret has been destroyed.
Fate forced me to become an assassin. A truly wise man will not tell you the truth.
Launch attack!
Nothing is true.
Our turret is under attack. Double kill. Team destroy the turret.
Fate forced me to become an assassin.
Our turret has been destroyed.
A truly wise man will not tell you the truth.
Monster kill. Double kill.
It wasn't me who chose King of Light. The king chose me.
An ally has slain Lord.
Give me names, and I will give you blood. One life, Jackson.
Legendary.
Nothing is true.
Your team destroyed the turret. Has been slain. Legendary. An ally has been slain. Your team destroyed a turret.
Nothing.
Legendary.
Nothing is true.
Your team destroyed a turret.
What's the truth?
Victory!
The Saharan Desert and North Africa at large is one of the world's greatest untapped energy resources. The solar energy that strikes the surface of this desert has the potential to power the entire world. A single solar panel placed here
Hello.
in Algeria is capable